Yeah, where are our sexy liberals in Seattle at? In the chat room. Shunter, thank you for the donation. Where's that? I missed it. It was going by. Oh, yes. Everybody. Hashtag Rip Portland. You're just landed in Seattle. All right. What's the weather like so I know how to pack? Thanks for the, oh, thank you for the 5 memberships, yeah. Am I coming? My flight's at 9 o'clock. So yes. Which means I gotta be there at, 15 to 8, something like that. Always got the backup. You're gonna be okay. Look at that. Already restream congratulating us. Over 100 messages so far. Share the show out, by the way, while we're waiting. Give me 1 second.
I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges.
From beyond the grave. Thanks, Pablo. Oh, look at that. 119. Let's get that chat number up to this guy right here. Let's get it up to like 500. We can do it. It's actually a lot larger than that. It's late. It takes longer to count it. Okay, yeah. I want to find something real quick that I just watched. Oh, boy. All right, almost there. Hit that like. Give me some like. Give me some likes. Give me a reason to show up. Come on. You can do it. It's a little click of a button. Subscribe. Here we go. All right, let's do this. Let's just do the show. What's happening, people? Oh, it's very exciting. Lots to talk about today, obviously. Super fun. I want to thank you guys for showing up today. The blessing of your time is worth its weight in kidneys. My lights didn't dim. Something else is going on. The kidney has been working behind the scenes, messing with me. Something's going on. I don't know.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
That is true. That is true. I don't think anyone can argue with that because it would be a total waste of time. Thank you, Berkeley, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Also, you guys can help us out with Venmo. Take the $5 challenge, the $10 challenge, the buy me a cup of coffee, do 666, whatever floats your boat. And if you cannot afford to help out the show, What I'm here for is to de-stress your life. And can I just say that oftentimes, ladies and germs, but seriously, ladies and germs, oftentimes I am in a situation where I feel I am alone in my opinions about things. Now, granted, that's what being right is all about. You know, when the general consensus is so out of whack, oftentimes those of us who are right about everything often feel like we're standing in a field screaming at everyone to look up in the movie Don't Look Up. So occasionally I will stumble on something, and this is like a rare treat at the beginning of the show, if I may. Let me show you something. This is from Times Radio on the BBC. Real quick, just in case you think that I'm becoming my own version of Alex Jones, where I'm believing my own supplements and snorting my own research and drinking myself into a truth bomb. I don't know, whatever. Just let you know that I'm going to, besides Peter Zion and my thoughts about demographics, and I've at least got him as a partner out there fighting the good fight, speaking the good speak. This fella, this is hold on, whoops, Allan Lichtman right here. Not to be confused with Allan Rickman, who we miss very much around here. Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy? Sadly, he will not be joining us for the rest of his life. That's my best Allan Rickman, just right out of the gate. I've actually never spoken words using the Allan Rickman voice, but there might be something there. Bill Clay. So, yeah, we love Rickman. Yeah, it's not that bad. All right. This fella's name is Allan Lichtman. Lichtman. Yes. No, he's a good guy. He's not related to Pecker at all. I'm just going to give you a little taste of what he's going to say.
Donald Trump in 2016. I predicted Ronald Reagan.
Hold on.
I predicted Donald Trump in 2016. I predicted Ronald Reagan in 1984, George H.W. Bush in 1988, George W. Bush in 2004. And under my system, a lot would have to go wrong for Biden to lose.
Donald Trump has been...
Did you hear that? Under a system, a lot would have to go wrong. And clearly a lot more than, has gone sideways in the world right now. Just saying.
Convicted of falsifying business records in his hush money trial. It is the first time in history that a former U.S. president has been convicted of a crime. You've been getting in touch. Please continue. He was found guilty on all 34...
I gotta say, real quick, either this guy is way smaller than he looks, or the BBC has gigantic fucking headphones from World War II left over. That's all you get if you work there. Because who wears those? Look how wide those fucking things are. What in the world? Either this dude is smaller than me, and he's wearing like adult headphones and it just looks weird, or those are like Andre the Giant's when he had a radio show a long time ago, and they're just sitting around.
Counts that he faced. Unanimity was required for any one of those counts. Well, let's talk to Professor Allan Lichtman, who is distinguished professor of history at the American University and author of The Keys to the White House. And Professor, hello to you. Thank you for joining us.
Certainly.
Professor of history, taking the long view.
He looks like a history professor, I'm just saying.
Can you sum up what this means?
This verdict is of enormous historic significance. Not only has no former president ever even been charged with a crime, neither has any major party candidate been charged with a crime. Now we have Donald Trump convicted not just of one felony, but 34 felonies. Above all, this is a great victory for democracy and the rule of law.
True. Now, he talks like one of us, as it were, in that regard. I agree with all those points. But insofar as his system for picking presidents, he is nonpartisan in this. That's why he was saying in the clip that they brought out that he picked Bush and Reagan and said Trump was going to win.
In America. Donald Trump lies about all of this, saying this was a fix, this was rigged. Nonsense. The judge was eminently fair, even bent over backwards to be more differential Donald Trump than virtually any other defendant. Donald Trump and his lawyers had
Deferential, but I think it's a pronunciation thing.
ample opportunity.
A differential, I think, is part of a car.
To question the jurors. They had ample opportunity to present their defense. Trump was not convicted by Joe Biden or his political enemies, but by a jury of 12 ordinary Americans. The system worked.
But
You know,
Alan,
Donald
I
Trump-
put that to another distinguished professor, Alan Dershowitz.
Okay, maybe it's this guy. Maybe that guy's name is Lichtman, and he just pronounces everything that way. Dershowitz? No. And also, the only distinguishment about Alan Dershowitz is that he was as cozy with Jeffrey Epstein as Donald Trump was. That's a distinction amongst all men.
An hour or so ago, and he says, no, the jury got it wrong, and so did the district attorney. This should have been a misdemeanor.
Listen to this dude, this history professor, talk about Dershowitz. Now, I'm just saying, oftentimes it helps to have somebody with some college cred say stuff like this. Check this out.
And then it became felony. This was weaponization of the justice system, and this shows that the system, the guardrails, failed, and as a result, we're going to see similar things being done by Republican DAs, Republican prosecutors up and down the country. This was a very bad move and a very bad day for justice in America.
I would answer that in one word: bunk. Dershowitz has been in the bag for Donald Trump for years.
Yeah, I think that would be that's as good a way as you can put it.
He has been an apologist for Donald Trump. There was
Right.
nothing weaponized or rigged here in any way, and they haven't pointed to anything in the trial
Right.
that was unfair to Donald Trump, who had complete opportunity to strike jurors, to make his defense, to present his facts. They presented in defense one witness who turned out to be a disaster.
We'll be getting to that fellow in just a moment. Greg Kelly had Costello on as a fucking guest.
For the defense.
Can't wait. Hang in there. By the way, like, subscribe. Hal Sparks' radio program, Megaworldwide, is on Saturday tomorrow from Seattle while I'm there, and I'm here streaming all the time. Hit the like and subscribe.
It's basically confirming that Trump and Giuliani were trying to silence Michael Cohen. You know, Republicans for decades have claimed to be the party of law and order. And now here is Donald Trump and apologists like Dershowitz doing everything in their power to subvert and trash the rule of law in America.
But
It's pretty dead on. So, anyways, just so you know, chat room, like that's just a little snippet of it. That dude's on for like 15 minutes. And basically everything he's saying is exactly what I've been saying about Dershowitz all this long. And it's so nice to have this dude just go, he's in the fucking tank for him, which he is. Yeah. Okay, we'll do the, let's see. Well, here's the thing. First of all, we have to do it because we gotta. Trump's stating his this is from Fox 5 Washington, D.C. Trump delivers speech after guilty verdict. A day after, I got to say, yes, as every speech he gives after the guilty verdict, I would love for Fox News everywhere to go, Trump is in town this week after his guilty verdict. Trump is showing up at a state fair after his guilty verdict. Yeah, just add that shit to everything. Oh yes, and just in case you're joining us and you're not in here all the time, where the heck did it go? A bunch of where'd it go? Oh, I see. There you go. Sorry, my pop-up's shut. It was weird. Just in case you're just joining us, please be forewarned. I've seen pictures of this. I've not watched it, but he looks pretty ratty, and his nunt is exceeding all expectations. Whew. Okay, here we go.
Thank you very much, everybody. This is a case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone.
Well, yeah, but they have to commit the crime first. I'm just saying, you have to You have to falsify business records in the furtherance of a crime. Which, and by the way, they do this shit all the time. Most people just plead out. They pay a fine and skulk away.
These are bad people.
Also, what the fuck is up with his hair right now? It's like this two-tiered pompadour situation. Look at this. Layer 1, layer 2. It looks like it's trying to tell us something. Like it's just like, get me the fuck off of this crook. I don't want to go to jail. I'm not even his hair. I was on a horse and then I woke up attached to this motherfucker. Get me out of here. Yeah, he's given up on trying now.
These are, in many cases, I believe, sick people.
All right, well, then they're not responsible for their actions, so I don't think, I think it's very ableist for you to attack them. If people are sick, they're not in control of their actions, you know?
When you look at our country, what's happening where millions and millions of people are flowing in from all parts of the world, not just South America.
Some of them are black.
From Africa, from Asia, from the Middle East. And they're coming in from jails and prisons. And they're coming in from
same shit,
mental institutions and insane asylums.
Which one of those four? Which one? Hold on. I don't even know if I could do this except in. I guess I can only do it on Twitch. We need a poll. Which one do you think he'll end up in first? Jail, a prison, a mental institution, or an insane asylum. And a mental institution / sanatorium will also be accepted by the judges.
They're coming in from all over the world into our country. And we have a president and a group of fascists that don't want to do anything about it.
Well, I guess they... it's the fascist thing. Fascists are well known for open borders.
Because they could right now, today. He could stop it.
No, he couldn't. He'd violate international law, and then there'd be this gack up, and then it would open up, and then there'd be a big stack of people waiting, and then they would flood the border after it, and yeah.
But he's not. They're destroying our...
Oh, well, I mean, I take it back. You could start another pandemic, I suppose. You could find some anthrax someplace and release it, and... You know, you could use gain of function, restart that, release a horrible version of anthrax that affects everyone worldwide. Then you could close the border with a stroke of a pen.
Our country is in very bad shape, and they're very much against me saying.
And by our country, I mean my hair and also my pants.
These things. They want to raise your taxes by 4 times.
You mean multiplication, a multiplication of 4, or 4 individual times, like quarterly?
They want to stop you from having...
Also, by the way, I don't want to nitpick, but the corporate rate is like 22%. So 4 times that, you're basically at 100. So I don't know what you're taxing if all the money goes to one place. It just doesn't work. It's not a tax anymore. It's just the seizure of assets.
Cars.
Maybe that's what he's talking about. Hold on. They don't want what?
With their ridiculous mandates.
Hold on. Back the fuck up.
They want to raise your taxes by 4 times. They want to stop you from having cars.
Yeah. No cars. Not even electric ones. You're not allowed to drive. My uncle has a country place that no one knows about. He says it used to be a farm before the motor laws.
With their ridiculous mandates that make it impossible.
Little bit of red box. Shut up!
Possible for you to get a car, or afford a car.
Have a car, loan a car, borrow a car, rent a car, see a car.
Make it very...
Buy a Boxcar Willie album. Watch the movie Cars with your children.
Very possible for China to build all of our cars. It's a very serious problem.
It's just, I got to say, seldom do you get to see a person who in real time knows less about something they're talking about over time. You know what I mean? Like somebody repeatedly talks about a topic, they actually lose track of the details they might have even used to have.
That we have. We just went through.
Can't listen to the Cars. You can't listen to the song In Cars. You can't listen to Fast Car anymore. Fuck you, Joe Biden.
One of many experiences where we had a conflicted judge, highly conflicted.
So conflicted, he didn't know which way was up, which way was down, who he was for. At one point, he thought he was for Trump, and then he's against him. My sister, my daughter, my sister. He's guilty, he's innocent, he's good.
There's never been a more conflicted judge.
He's not conflicted. He would have a conflict of interest. This is stupid.
Now, I'm under a gag order, which nobody's ever been under. No presidential candidate's ever been under a gag order before.
Yeah, but no presidential candidates committed this level of crimes before. Also, it wasn't necessary. In the middle of their trial, like John Edwards or somebody, they didn't start, like, doxing effectively judge and jury and people involved in the court, which would create a situation where their crazy-ass fucking followers would start sending them death threats.
I'm under a gag order.
Yes, the ban Cars is right out.
Nasty gag order.
Oh, dirty, filthy. This is a gag order. I can't even say it. So it's a nasty gag order? You're only allowed to say things that are nasty? Miss Jackson?
Where I've had to pay thousands of dollars in penalties and fines.
Right, because you're stupid and you can't obey the rules because you're a whiny little baby.
And was threatened with jail.
Jail! Well, yeah, because you got the fine first and then you were like, fuck this, I don't care. Yeah, come and get me, copper. And they're like, okay. And you're like, but what?
Think of it. I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by a lot, and I'm
Nope.
leading the Republicans to the point where that's over.
Well, good. Bring it up. I think he was going to mention Junior and then had to bail on it.
So I'm the leading person for president, and I'm under a gag order.
Well, about like 9 things. You can talk about everything else. Hey, you know what you can talk about? You know what's not covered in the gag order? Policy. Yeah. Hey, you know what you could do? Fuck the gag order. Just read your health care plan. It was ready forever and 2 weeks ago.
By a man that can't put 2 sentences together.
Well, he kind of dunked on you today, so.
Given by a court, and they are in total conjunction with the White House and the DOJ.
Oh, my God. There's a conjunction junction? What could possibly be their function? They're in total conjunction? Okay, sure. I mean, they're in total conjunction. I've been in partial conjunction before, but never total conjunction. That's crossing the line.
Jay, just so you understand, this is all done by Biden and his people. Maybe his people more importantly. I don't know if Biden knows too much about it.
Yeah, it's obviously, it's not his problem.
Because I don't know if he knows about anything. But he's nevertheless...
He's been busy negotiating a ceasefire in the Middle East, and he announced it today. But keep at it. I don't know what he's doing, but he sure can. Maybe we need more dizzy fuckers who don't know what time it is to pass infrastructure bills. Maybe the problem is that you know too many best words. Maybe that's it.
Yes, the president, so we have to use his name.
Okay. You don't, you could call him Hufflepuff if you want to. Nobody, he's not sensitive about it.
And this is done by Washington, and nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Yeah, because we've never had a criminal presidential candidate like you. Like Nixon had the decency to fuck off.
So we have a judge who's highly conflicted. You know what the confliction is. Nobody wants to write about it. And I'm not allowed to talk about it. If I do, he said, I get put in jail.
Yeah. So hey, you're not going to get any complaints from me. Do spill.
So we'll play that game a little bit longer. We won't talk about it, but you're allowed to talk about it. I hope you do. Because there's never been...
All right, asshole. That's a violation of the gag order. That's a violation. That's, say or make, like, be made to say, like, have somebody made to say what you're directing them to do it. Talk about the thing I'm not allowed to talk about. Wink, wink. You've read the order and then say all the shit I'm not allowed to say. That's a violation of the gag order, stupid.
Been anybody so conflicted as this. As far as the trial itself.
Yes, it was cold and long. which is 50% of the way. Never mind.
It was very
I almost went someplace. I don't need to go there. I don't.
unfair. We weren't allowed to use our election expert.
Because it didn't pertain to the issue at all?
Under any circumstances.
Because it was not part of what you were being accused of? Could you bring in Ronnie Jackson to tell everybody what your butthole looks like up close?
You saw what happened to some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were
Some? You had two.
literally crucified.
They what? Hold on. I have a clip of Costello. I thought he
To
survived.
some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were literally crucified.
Jesus Christ. I never knew the New York courts were this severe. Really? How did they do it? Was it Braveheart style? Did they disembowel them while they yelled freedom, or is it old fashioned Jesus-y where they just nailed them to some shit, or were they drawn and quartered? I mean, or was it Conan style where they whatever, take him away to the tree of woe, crucify him.
By this man who looks
What?
like an angel, but he's really a devil.
He looks like an angel? You mean because he has white hair? You simpleton?
He looks so nice and soft.
I want to squeeze him.
People say, oh, he seems like such a nice man. No, unless you saw him in action.
Oh, we saw him in action. Yeah.
And you saw that with a certain witness that went through hell.
Costello went through hell?
And when we wanted to do things, he wouldn't let us do those things.
No? What were those things? What the fuck? We wanted to do things, he wouldn't let us do those things? What things would that be? Jesus Christ.
But when the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they want.
Real quick, just a thought. Could it be that they were asking for things that were legal, germane to the proceedings, and possible, and you were asking for nonsensical horse shit? And that was what it was. It wasn't just kind of a jump ball. It wasn't like, we wanted a copy of the report, they got a copy of the report, and we didn't get a copy of the report. Like, fuck off, dude. You're talking about objections and being sustained or overruled. That's not the same thing.
It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted. And obviously he didn't do that.
Obviously.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's historic. We actually had a president who was this criminal and this fucking stupid and gross. And also Jeffrey Epstein's wingman.
We had a DA who was a failed DA.
He kicked your ass again. So the doddering old fart in the White House kicked your ass, and he can't put two sentences together, but he can put you in jail apparently. And the failed DA just succeeded in the trial against the first former president in history. Like, all right.
Crime is rampant in New York, violent crime. That's what he's really supposed to be looking at.
Well, he wasn't there the whole time. That's why he assigns people to it. He wasn't actually in the room, He's the district attorney. He's not the actual prosecuting attorney in this particular thing.
Crime is rampant in New York.
It's New York. I don't know what to tell you. It's fucking New York. The fuck out of here.
Yesterday in McDonald's, you had a man hitting him up with machetes. A machete.
Yesterday in all the McDonald's? How many McDonald's are there in New York City? That's crazy talk. Okay, hold on. McDonald's, machete, New York, whatever. Yeah, bloody machete. at a local McDonald's causes brutal injuries. 3 suspects in custody. Machete attack and sent 1 man to the hospital. The man was cut in both legs. Incident took place at 1 o'clock. The victim, who's not been named, is in stable condition. One of the 3 suspects was arrested at 6th Avenue and 52nd. The 3 men have been detained in connection with the attack. I'm sorry. Are they being released immediately afterwards? The 3 men have been contained. So there's 3 guys, 1 had a machine. Their names have not been released, and they were attacking somebody's vendor across the street. Called the incident a territorial conflict among CD vendors. So guys selling CDs are attacking each other with machetes. They were fighting, and one of them had a big knife and stabbed him in his legs. There was a lot of blood. Machete-wielding man attacked and injured 1 person. Another vendor said he helped the wounded man sit to await first responders. He was just sitting there covered in blood. They were always warring over turf. It's crazy out here, indicating the men were trying to hawk CDs to tourists. The great CD crime wave. There's a guy with a machete. Yeah, there's, by the way, Alvin Bragg walks up right after this and says, "Let him go." You do realize you can't prevent crime first, but you can prevent the next crime by putting somebody in jail. And that guy got arrested. He got arrested, right? It's just because it happens. They were CD vendors yesterday. So what's Bragg supposed to do? Arrest everyone selling, CDs on their own? If you find yourself selling CDs at this point, believe me, the city has pity on you.
Whoever can imagine even a machete being wielded in a store, in a place where they're eating, and he's going rampant. And
okay, it wasn't rampant. He was attacking someone specific. And who can imagine? I can imagine anything, dipshit.
Bragg is down watching a trial.
What was he supposed to do? Run down there like Bragg Man? No, Bragg Man. Who is it? I'm the Soros-backed DA. Here to fight crime, but only temporarily. I'm going to release you without bail if you're not involved in a violent crime. If it's just possession, you can be on your way. But you better show up for court, or it's going to be big trouble. All right, what's happening? Machete attack. And you guys got him? Yeah, we got him. What the fuck are you doing here? Wow, I'm Bragg Man. I'm supposed to show up at the scene of a crime and yell at everyone, right? That's my gig. That's what I do. So I guess I'll just fly back to the office. Dun, dun, dun! All right.
On what they call crimes.
What the fuck? Wait, what? Hang out. What?
On what they call crimes.
Yeah, that's commonly that's a word I've heard it used before. I mean, I slow down with all the legal mumbo jumbo. Mumble jumbo is probably close to the truth. Okay, new sound drop, obviously.
They call.
Hold on.
Then Bragg is down watching a trial on what they call crimes. They're falsifying business records. That sounds so bad. To me, it sounds very bad. It's only a misdemeanor, but to me, it sounds so bad. When they say falsifying business, that's a bad thing for me. I've never had that before.
Yeah, well, hey, asshole. This is why you didn't go after Michael Cohen for the $30,000 or $60,000 that he allegedly stole from you. Because he would go, actually, that was money owed to me. And in discovery, he'd get an accountant to be able to look at your books, and they'd find out that you basically operate a bullshit criminal enterprise. Yeah. So be lucky you're getting off easy.
I'm falsifying. You know what falsifying business records is? In the first degree. They say falsifying business records. Sounds so good, right?
No, it sounds pretty bad, actually.
It means that legal expense. I paid a lawyer.
Who are you talking to, motherfucker? Who's standing over there? Who is over there? Who the fuck are you talking? You've got a podium, you dumb motherfucker.
Totally legal. I paid a lawyer a legal expense. And
Dude, this is not helping.
a bookkeeper, without any knowledge from me, correctly marked it down in the books. A very professional woman, highly respected, she testified. Marked it down in the books as a legal expense. So a legal expense, paid a lawyer, is a legal expense.
No, it is not. You didn't pay a lawyer. You paid a porn star via the lawyer.
The books. It's not sheetrock
This
construction or any other thing. It's a
sheetrock construction or any other thing. You know what I hate is when these real estate guys start talking to me about, you know, piping and measurement and foundational stuff and the fucking all the shit you have to talk to the inspector about and all this, like there's all this stuff. They all know it because they live it, you know. Big words like sheetrock and construction.
legal expense. Think of that. This is what the falsification of business records were. And I said, what else are you going to call it?
Reimbursement. It's a reimbursement for the money he paid. He paid money. You reimbursed him. That's not a legal expense. He didn't. That paying her was not part of his work for you. Never was. Never could be. You reimbursed him because that was the plan. Reimbursement. It's a reimbursement. That's what you put down. But if you put down reimbursement, then everybody goes, for what?
What else are you going to call it? Now,
A reimbursement.
I would have testified. I wanted to testify.
Bullshit.
The theory is you never testify because as soon as you testify, anybody, if it were George Washington, don't testify because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong and then they sue you for perjury.
They don't sue you for perjury, dumb shit.
But I didn't care about that. I wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't care, man. You just went ahead and did it anyways because...
But the judge allowed them to go into everything that I was ever involved in, not this
Bullshit.
case, everything that I was
Bullshit.
ever involved in.
That's a lie. His own defense could object, relevance. Motherfucker, you don't think we watch true crime? We know. Objection, relevance, sustained. Your Honor, this points to the kind of habitual criminality of this person, whatever. I'll let it go but watch yourself, counselor. Like, how many times we have to see that shit?
Which is a first. In other words, you could go into every single thing that I ever did.
Bullshit.
Was he a bad boy here? Was he a bad boy there?
Yeah, that's what they're worried about. How naughty you were.
And my lawyer said, what do you need to go through? And all you wanted to do is testify simply on this case. Because I would have loved to have testified. To this day, I would have liked to have testified. But
now he regrets it because he took advice of counsel and then now he's mad. It would have been fucking terrible for him if he did. Even in terms of this case. He would have perjured himself about this case. These details, not the rest of his life, not, I moved a comma and blah, 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 like he always talks about. He would have perjured himself over these charges.
you would have said something out of whack, like it was a beautiful sunny day and it was actually raining out. And I very much appreciate the big crowd of people outside. That's It's incredible what's happening.
Yeah, just keep them out there because they're all fucking lunatics.
The level of support has been incredible.
Yes, it is. I just don't want them in here near me because have you seen them? They're Looney Tunes.
So the whole thing is
Rigged?
legal expense
No.
was marked down as legal expense. Think of it. This is the crime that I committed that I'm supposed to go to jail for 187 years for.
I mean, I think no, there's no mandatory on this. I mean, what are you stacking 4 years each? And what? You're planning on shivving somebody while you're in prison and getting it added on top of it?
When you have violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
Yes, they have. Obviously. The 70s, Son of Sam, the 60s, the 90s, early 90s, like.
Where you have businesses leaving, and businesses are leaving because of this, because heads of businesses say, Man,
if I can't commit those kind of crimes, there's no way I'm going to get rid of all the other shit I do, or I'm going to get away with it.
we don't want to get involved with that. I could go through the books of any business person in this city, and I could find things that, in theory, I guess, let's indict him, let's destroy his life. But
Well, obviously, your friends, sure.
I'm out there, and I don't mind being out there because I'm doing something for this country, and I'm doing something for our Constitution. It's very important, far beyond me. And this can't be allowed to happen to other presidents. It should never be allowed to happen.
I agree. We shouldn't allow other presidents to be elected after they've fucked a porn star and paid her off to shut up to keep the news out of the headlines so that they could manipulate the media through the National Enquirer to make sure that they get ahead in the primaries and then ultimately win when they didn't deserve to, and also collude with those folks, or conjunction with those folks to create false stories about your primary opponents. We'll make a checklist
In the future. But this is far beyond me. This is bigger than Trump. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than my presidency.
Everything is.
And the people understand it because I just see a poll just came out, the Daily Mail. That was the first one, came out. It was done last night right after
It's just funny how these Murdoch papers are just...
the verdict, where I'm up 6 points. 6 points from what we already were. We were leading fairly substantially.
Yeah, same. Remember how Mitt Romney won against Obama?
We're up 6 points in the Daily Mail poll. Now, maybe other polls come out and it says something differently.
Yes, they do.
But a lot of people have predicted it because the public understands, and they understand what's going on. This is a scam. There's a rigged trial. It shouldn't have been in that venue. We shouldn't have had that judge. He should have allowed us to have an election expert. We had the best expert.
Well, you shouldn't. You sure shit shouldn't have allowed him to crucify your witnesses. I mean, I don't even know how you held down your lunch.
Respected expert, head of the Federal Elections Commission. He was all set to testify. He was waiting for 2 days.
Trying to find a way to be relevant.
And when it was his turn, Bragg's people protested. And the judge knocked him out, said you can't testify. He actually said you can't testify for anything having to do with the trial. You can say what the federal elections is. Well, that doesn't help. Everybody knows that. But
no, they don't.
But you can't testify. So it said,
how could he testify? Was he there? Was he germane to the meeting? Was he part of the bookkeeping? Did he used to work at the Trump organization? Does he know Michael Cohen? Does he know you?
Essentially, he wasn't able to testify.
Were you golfing with him when this scheme was hatched? Was he your fucking alibi?
Other people weren't able to testify. But with these people, they were able to use people salacious.
Yes, people's... They were able to use people salacious, or salacious people, or people who said salacious things. Fuck it. They were able to use people salacious.
They were able to use people salacious. By the way,
Lee.
And nothing ever happened. There was no anything. Nothing.
There was no anything.
Nothing ever happened, and they know it. But they were as salacious as they could be, and it had nothing to do with the case, but it had to do with politics. And do you notice the timing?
What the politics of golfers fucking porn stars?
Timing was perfect. This case was dead. It was dropped by every agency, every governmental board. It was dropped by the highly...
Everybody. The FAA, FEMA didn't want to do it. Every governmental board, the intercoastal state board on sand erosion and tree health, they didn't want to go after it.
Inspector Southern District, they said, no, there's no case here. It was dropped by federal election, and that's what it's about. This is about a federal election, not a state election. You're not even...
Right. That's not germane to this because that's why you falsified it again. I stand by my murder analogy.
Been allowed to look at it. They took the state and the city and they went into a federal election. They're not allowed. The people from federal elections, Southern District and Washington, dropped the case. Everybody dropped the case. There was no case. Cy Vance dropped the case. And when Bragg came in, he said, this is the most ridiculous case I've ever seen. And who would have a certain person, again, gag order, who would have a certain person like this ever testify?
All right. Michael Cohen. Well, he worked with you for 10 years. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever seen a mafia trial, you dipshit?
He said, this is essentially one of the worst people I've ever seen, ever.
No. There's not a single DA anywhere that would say Michael Cohen is anywhere near the worst person they've ever seen. Motherfucker, they're going to be prosecuting the machete attack dude. Are you nuts? It's New York.
To testify. He said, the craziest case I've ever seen. This is Bragg. Then when I announced I was running for president, long time later, they decided to revive this case.
Actually, he got notice of a pending indictment, and that's why he launched his campaign early, just for the record.
And they got a judge.
He was going to, if he was going to run at all, he was going to wait until January. He started like 3 months earlier because, or I think 4 months earlier, because they got a notice to indict around the documents case.
Judge Marchand, who was
conflicted,
responsible for another case that was also brought. It destroyed the life of a very good man, by the way. Destroyed the life of a very good man.
Weisselberg? Who's he talking about?
Who went to prison once.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just put him in prison again because they said he lied. He didn't lie. I looked at the statements he made. In fact, he didn't remember something, and they put him in jail.
Nope.
Again.
Nope. They don't put you in jail for not remembering.
They've destroyed.
That's one of the reasons why this asshole, who he says he has the greatest memory ever, in depositions is like, I don't remember. I don't remember. Do you remember saying you have one of the greatest memories? I don't remember saying that. He literally said that.
Destroyed him. With me for many years. He was an honorable person. He was an honest man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is how mobsters talk about their accountants when they're keeping their trap shut. He's a good fella.
And if you look at what he did, supposedly, it never happened. There's never been anything like this.
There's been a lot of things like this. What the fuck are you talking about? Accountants go to jail. Bernie Madoff, fucking Martha Stewart. You think both of them were the only people that went to jail in those cases, you dumbass?
Over the education of his grandchildren. Over, he didn't report that he had a car.
No, it's not that he didn't report that he had a car. His car was registered.
Or 2 cars.
Or 3 cars. How many cars does he have? We don't know. Nobody reported it.
On his income, I don't know. I wonder how many people here have cars. I wonder how many people said, oh, gee, I have a car that's worth X dollars. How do you even figure it? And
well, if it's a gift, if it was given to you, you figure it that way. The value of the fucking car, dummy.
I guess you do have to report it, but I would say...
Not if you buy it yourself.
Probably almost nobody does. Nobody even thinks about it.
It's New York. Hardly anybody drives, asshole.
They put this man, they destroyed this man. But
no, you destroyed this man. And his decisions destroyed what was left of his life because it got fealty to you.
They put him in jail again because they didn't want him to testify. They didn't want...
Well, he could have. That wouldn't stop him from testifying. If the defense wanted to call him, they can call him. They didn't have to wheel him in like Hannibal Lecter.
Want him to testify. That's why he went to jail. They put him in jail twice.
Well, he committed one crime and then he got out and he lied in another case and he went to jail for perjury.
77 years old.
That number sounds familiar.
Now, normally I'd say that's an old guy, but I don't feel 77. Nobody ever says that about me. I'd like them to say, gee.
You look 85. You look like a crazy man dyeing his hair orange. What are you talking about? You look older than you are.
We have to have a little sorrow for this man because they just don't say that about me, but maybe I'm better off that way.
Sympathy, you mean? A little sympathy for him? All right. Maybe it's poetry. I don't do poetry.
I think I'm probably better off that way. But they put him in jail twice. And you have to see what they put him in jail. And he was threatened by the judge.
Well, yeah. First you threatened, like, if you lie again, I'm going to put you in jail. And then he lied again, and then he went to jail. Just like you. And you know what? The thing about Allen Weisselberg, I will give him credit for this. He's not out bitching in front of a microphone all the fucking time. He takes his goddamn medicine.
This man was told you're going to get 15 years in jail if you don't give up Trump. And he was told that. You're going to get 15 years in jail. And
he's like, I'm only going to live 3 more. And Trump offered to pay, funnel money through, a couple of LLCs I set up for him. And if I turn, they're going to kill me. I won't last 15 years.
He made a plea deal because he didn't want to spend the rest of his life. And he was told that viciously.
Oh, he was. Yeah. Very loud. It was the loudest plea deal you've ever heard. It was all the shouting and the yeah, I know. We got a lot of people in the chat today. Thank you guys for being here. Like, subscribe. It's Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Share the show. Share it out on the socials, on Shitter. Hi, Shitter. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Instagram people. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help me get my numbers up. And Twitch. Okay.
We're living in a fascist state.
No, you're not. Or you wouldn't be allowed to stand in front of this podium with a microphone and a bunch of cameras and say this to a crowd of people. You wouldn't have left the courtroom if you were in a fascist state, dumbass.
He was told that viciously. So you can go to jail for 4 months, 5 months, or you can get 15 years in jail.
Yeah, that's what plea deals are, dummy. That's that. Talk to Michael Cohen, man.
So do a plea. Almost who wouldn't do that plea?
Well, an innocent person, I think, largely.
Everyone does those pleas. It's a horrible thing.
No, they don't.
There's a whole group of lawyers that fight that. It's so unfair. It's so
you think the Innocence Project is going to come and save you?
Unfair. But
why don't they? I think of myself as the Central Park One. Fuck you.
They destroyed his life. So many other things. You look at Southern District didn't want to bring the case.
Yeah, that's your notes. We know. You already said that part.
Nobody wanted to bring the case.
Yeah, you said that part already.
And then you know who didn't want to bring the case?
The Boy Scouts. No, 4-H.
Most of all is Bragg. Bragg didn't want to bring it, but
yeah, you already told us that part earlier. Remember, I did the little sketch, Bragg man flying down. So you should bring up the machete story again.
Then he brought it, and they tried to make it a different case. They didn't say legal expense equal legal expense.
Really? That didn't sound like much of a case. We'd like to file a report. Legal expense equals legal expense. Legal expense. Legal expense. Legal.
Free health care for illegal. Look. Again.
Yes, everything's again. You repetitive motherfucker.
If I wrote down
legal expense, it's illegal. All right.
And paid a lawyer. And by the way, this was a highly qualified lawyer. Now, I'm not allowed to use his name because of the gag order.
He was a highly qualified lawyer, but he's, I think you mean highly qualified liar. I think he was the GLOAT, the greatest lawyer of all time.
But, he's a sleazebag. Everybody.
Yes, he worked for you. That's pretty par for the course.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, he's a former sleazebag. I'll give him a little. He seems much more like a family man with a day job now. But he certainly, when he was with you, absolutely. Fucking sleazy as they come.
Took me a while to find out.
Right. That he was having second thoughts.
But he was effective.
What the fuck took you a while to figure out you only used him to do sleazy shit, you weirdo?
He did work.
Oh, yeah? Is that what it is? What work was that? What work would that be?
But he wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. They like to use the word fixer. He wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. At the time, he was a fully accredited lawyer.
Right. Who used his status as a lawyer and attorney-client privilege to hide what he was talking about illegally.
Now, he got into trouble not because of me. He got into trouble because he made outside deals, and he had something to do with taxi cabs. and medallions, and he borrowed money. And that's why he went. And then he pled to three election violations.
Right. For shit he did while he was working for you. You should probably stop talking now.
And as soon as I saw that, I said, I wonder why he did that. He pled. He took a deal.
You went, I wonder why he pled, not, I wonder why he tried to interfere in the election.
Now, he took a deal because he wanted to get off.
I had to beat off.
Who doesn't?
In other words, I'll take a plea deal and I want to get off.
Yeah, we know how. What the fuck is this? We know what you don't get off when you have a plea deal. Technically, you just get on a smaller pony, as it were.
And he wanted to make a deal with the Southern District, and they wrote the worst report I think I've ever seen on any human being, other than the report that was written on
about you,
James Comey, by the Inspector General. A very great Inspector General, actually.
Oh, he's got a fresh batch of fucking Adderall snorts.
What a report that was so bad. This one was possible.
Oh, top of the hour. Hit that like, by the way. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. I'm going to start adding chapters to the show. I don't know how we do it when we do these long pieces, but we'll figure it out.
Possibly worse. The Southern District, the judge didn't let us use it.
Now.
He said it's hearsay. I said, it's not hearsay. Wouldn't let us use it.
Wait a minute. He said it was hearsay. You said it's not hearsay? And that wasn't enough of an argument for him? Let me guess, it was hearsay.
This is about the man.
Oh, hearsay about the... Shitty, you heard about the man?
But he got in trouble for a very simple reason. Because...
He worked for you?
He was involved with borrowing a lot of money, and he did something with the banks. I don't know if it's defrauded the banks, but something happened.
Yeah, I mean, you would know.
You guys know what it is. And then in addition to that, he gave up on three things where he wasn't guilty. In fact, they were going to testify in that. The head of the FEC, the Brad Smith, the election expert.
Oh, this is the whole, like, I was going to get him out of those charges, but I wasn't going to pardon him for the other shit, so he's turned on me.
Number one, like rated in the country, was going to testify.
Fabulous.
He took a plea on three things. He just added them in because that gave him more bargaining power with respect to me. But the three things that he pled on, having to do with the election,
right,
and having to do essentially a little bit with me, they weren't crimes. They weren't crimes. Nor is...
All right, again, gibberish. Him trying to dance around the gag order while not following the gag order is just lame.
Paying money under an NDA. So we have an NDA, non-disclosure agreement.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal, a non-disclosure agreement. Totally honorable, totally good, totally...
No, it isn't. No, the generic concept of them might be totally honorable and totally good, but yours weren't. You know how I know, asshole? Besides they were with you? Let's see. Let's see if I... oh, sorry. Whoops. I wrote gag order. Sorry. NDA Trump. There we go. There was a new story. Yeah, here you go. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Back the fuck up. Let's see. Yeah. This is the kind of NDAs Trump did. Black Biden spokesperson tears into textbook racist Trump over N-word allegation, says black voters will make him a loser. So during the Apprentice, he said about Kwame Jackson, who was coming in, it was between him and this guy Bill Pruitt. They were trying to figure out who would be the winner for the season. The producers at that point could not officially tell him who to choose. Later on, they changed the contract, like in season 3, so they just made it up, and he just did what the fuck he was told. But in this one, they would try to like bait him in the direction, and they thought Kwame Jackson was the much better candidate. But Trump said this, allegedly: would America buy a N-word winning? Apprentice employee claims Trump used N-word, discriminated against black Americans on set. Bombshell report from a former Apprentice producer newly released from his NDA recalled Trump's racism on the set of his show and outlined a damning account of Trump using the N-word to refer to a black finalist on the show, questioning whether people would buy a black American winning the show. The account is just the latest example of textbook racism, blah, blah, blah. But that's what Trump's NDA is for. So give me the whole, like, what was it? Totally fine, totally moral.
Accepted. Everybody has them.
No, they don't.
Every company has non-disclosure agreements.
Right, so that people don't steal their intellectual property. You have no intellectual property, even between your ears.
But the press called it slush fund and all sorts of other things.
Did they?
Hush money, hush money. It's not hush.
It's not a slush fund. It's hush money. There's a U and an S and an H in there. I understand how you got confused.
Hush money. It's called.
It was slush money.
Non-disclosure agreement, and
watch where you're going. Look at his eyes. He's like, fuck, I just stepped in it, didn't I?
Most of the people in this room have a non-disclosure agreement with
bullshit.
Their company.
Bullshit.
It's a disgrace. So it's not hush money. It's a non-disclosure agreement, totally legal.
But also, hush money is the money paid to get them to sign the NDA. You can sign an NDA without being paid, because you're going to be employed by a company, and they're like, you have to have a non-disclosure agreement to work around here because we don't want you talking shit after you leave, or telling people how shit works while we're here, or giving away secrets, or people have to feel like they can trust you in terms of this, and you're new here, so blah, blah, blah. That's the hush money isn't the actual NDA. The NDA is the result of, in this case, the hush money. Pay the hush money, she will sign the NDA.
Totally common. Everyone has it.
No, they don't.
And what happened is he signed a non-disclosure agreement with this person, I guess other people, but it's totally honest. You're allowed to make the payment. You don't have to make it. You can make it any way you want. It's a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, you can pay for it. You can not pay for it. So you paid for the non-disclosure agreement, right?
And he signed that.
And he signed it?
There was nothing wrong with signing it. And this should have been a non-case. And everybody said it was a non-case, including Bragg. Bragg said, until I ran for office. And then they saw the polls. I was leading the Republicans. I was leading the Democrats. I was leading everybody. And all of a sudden, they brought it back. It's a very sad thing that's happening in our country. And it's a...
By the way, can I just say for the record, I have never had a non-disclosure agreement. The times I've had like assistants and stuff, I never made them sign a non-disclosure agreement. I probably should have, just because it's a new person, you don't know what they're talking about, and da da da. And the non-disclosure agreement would cover true things and false things. They just can't talk about you. That seems reasonable for celebrities to do that to some degree. I never did it, but it makes sense when people do it. But I've signed arbitration agreements, which means if we have a legal problem, we will go through arbitration as opposed to going to the courts. And the way he talks about it, I feel like he thinks they're the same thing, that arbitration agreements and NDAs are basically like interchangeable, and that everybody in business, like a lot of people sign arbitration agreements with an employer, right? That's pretty common. NDAs are not.
It's a thing that I'm honored. In a way, I'm honored. It's not that it's pleasant. It's very bad for family. It's very bad for friends.
It's very bad for family, have friends.
And businesses.
It's family, friends, and businesses.
But I'm honored to be involved in it because somebody has to do it, and I might as well keep going and be the one. But I'm very honored to be
might as well
involved because we're fighting for our Constitution. No,
you're really not. It's not. You weren't. You're not going to have these charges aren't going to be brought as unconstitutional. You're not going to be able to take this to the Supreme Court and they'll be tossed out because it was an unconstitutional charge.
The money that was paid
Oh, shit. Look at his note.
was paid legally. There was nothing illegal.
No? Okay. So the money that was paid to who? The money that was paid to who? The money that was paid to Stormy and then reimbursed by you?
In fact, the lawyer in creating the NDA, because at that time he was a fully accredited lawyer. He wasn't a fixer.
I think he stopped being a fixer when he lost his law license.
I never thought of him as a fixer.
Well, that's because other people mentioned that term. You didn't think of it that way. You just thought you could use your lawyer to make problems go away, which is a fixer.
The media called him a fixer, or the prosecutors called him a fixer. He was a lawyer.
Yeah, a lawyer who fixed shit.
And he was fairly good.
At intimidating people and quieting porn stars.
Later on, I didn't like what he did. I didn't like, for instance, I didn't like that when I became president, he went around and made deals with companies. When I heard that, he was gone. He was gone. And
so he's not allowed, he didn't work for you anymore, but he's not allowed to go make a living? What do you mean, make deals with companies?
He had payments coming to him, and a lot of this involved things that are very simple. There was nothing wrong. This was standard stuff. All
yeah. Keep whiffing, dummy.
Standard stuff. Everything.
Yeah, it's standard. I should have just said that at the beginning. I don't know why I talked about all this stuff for the longest time. I should have just said standard. I should have just come up to the podium and said, this is just standard. And that's it, and just left it there. But I had to go on and actually incriminate myself and violate the gag order, which shouldn't even be there, but it is. And standard. It's all just standard. Can we file it under standard? Forget what I said.
Everything involved was standard. There was no crime here.
Hold on. Everything involved was standard. Sorry.
Standard stuff. Everything involved was standard. There was no crime here.
Well, there was a standard level of crime at the Trump Organization. It seems like crime was indeed the standard.
In fact, I just watched a couple of the reports. You watched Jonathan Turley, Andy
He can't stop.
McCarthy, Greg Jarrett.
Alan Dershowitz.
You look at all of these people.
All of these people. All of these same fuckers.
Mark Levin.
My new best friend.
All very talented people.
I've never seen him play the trombone, but I'll take your word for it.
Great people. Many more. Many more.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know me, essentially. They don't
Essentially. Fuck, they're up your ass, dude.
know me. They're legal scholars and experts.
No, they're not. Mark Levin is not an expert at anything.
But I look at them. I watched Turley this morning saying, there's no crime here.
Well, he's a little late. He probably should have said that dozens of times over the last 5 weeks.
Everybody says there's no crime here.
No, not everybody, or you wouldn't even have to quote Turley twice.
Except for this DA that's got the city out of control with crime. It's absolutely out of control.
Yeah, I mean, he's been stabbed 3 times during this speech already. Somebody tried to sell him crack.
So we have
and he bought some. Crime is everywhere.
an NDA that
He tried to smoke one of those flags, which I think is a crime, but it shouldn't be because America.
was signed. We have legal expenses.
Are they called legal expenses? Look at this motherfucker.
And here's the thing on legal.
Here's the thing on legal expense. I wrote a little thing. Hold on. Legal expense. Sorry.
Look.
Oh God, it's very difficult. You know, not everybody can do that. You know,
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it.
illegal expense.
Expenses.
By the way, can somebody shut the shade across the room? Grandpa's going a little long in the tooth, and the sun's going down. It's almost like it's like the end of a movie, like where he's like, "Oh no, he was literally sundowning as the sun went down."
You have 100 where they say they do a charge. I just recorded this out.
You just recorded this out? Yeah. I take it back. He does know the best words. He just recorded this out.
I know words. I have the best words.
I just recorded this out.
100 where they say they do a charge. I just recorded this out. Falsification of business records in the first degree. It sounds so bad.
Hey, asshole, you already said this
I
part.
said, wow. And even my own lawyers, I get very upset with them because
You think? Because they lost?
they don't say what it is.
Well, I gotta tell you, I think they kind of half expected you to know.
They say, falsification of legal records is only a felony. Well, that's a lot. Is only they say a misdemeanor. But they try and bring it up to a felony if there's 2 crimes. They have all these different things.
Yeah, I don't know. My lawyers talk to me, and it's just a bunch of I don't even know. It's like it's like this fly that's up here. I don't like flies.
The other thing is they miss the statute of limitations by a lot.
Okay, not only am I not guilty, but you're too late. Statute of limitations. At this point, 20 minutes in, he's going to whip out I'm guilty, but you got here too late. I'm over the county line, copper.
Because this was very old. They could have brought this 7 years ago instead of
No, they couldn't have because you were president and Barr would have stopped
bringing
it.
it right in the middle of the election. So they missed the statute of limitations. They did everything. Now, let me give you the good news. The good news
Yeah, give us the good news. Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, start with that. It's good. It's good.
is last night, we just got a report this morning.
Oh, they raised a bunch of money? Yeah.
In the history of politics, I believe, maybe I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Somebody will find that I'm wrong, maybe. But
You're wrong.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
They raised with small money donors, meaning like $21, $40,
$21?
$42,
42? So it's in increments of 21.
$53,
Okay, that would be $63, but okay.
$38.
And we're going back. Okay.
A record.
It's a weird choice. Like, how about $25? $10? $50? Like, all right.
$39 million in about a 10-hour period. No, think of that.
They'll think of it. Did you get some of the money? It's mine. He also sent out a cease and desist to Republicans to stop raising money on his case. They got a lot of that money. He didn't.
I like those people.
They cheer money.
Because so far, I guess it's backfiring. Now, I don't know. I'd rather not have it happen. I don't want to have it backfire. I want to win this thing legitimately, not because they were stupid and did things that they shouldn't be doing.
Ugh.
They shouldn't have brought this case. They were saying it this morning. This is a case that should not have been brought.
Who are? You mean the people that just won? Yeah, they were saying that was them.
I watched Andy McCarthy say this is a case that should not have been brought.
Right, because he wanted you to say it. And that's what you've been saying. I think maybe he was just quoting you.
And that was this morning.
Was it this morning, though? It was this morning, right? This morning.
But they all say that.
All of them. Every one of them. Those 5 assholes and other people.
Every legal scholar has said.
Every legal scholar, except the ones that got you convicted, of course.
Every legal, and these are great people.
All 5 of
They
them.
really understand the law.
Oh, they do. Well, apparently not, because you lost. So
The other thing, a poll just came out. The first poll, I don't know, maybe others will be bad. But a poll just came out a little while ago. The Daily Mail. Does anybody
yeah, you mentioned the Daily Mail earlier. 6 points.
read
We
the
know.
Daily Mail?
Yeah, it's a British paper.
Very good. They have a good poll. At least I like it today.
Mm-hmm.
And the Daily
You're not going to like it closer to the election.
Mail just came out with a poll, and it has Trump up 6 points in the last 12 hours. 6 points. 6 points since.
No, he did not go up 6 points since yesterday. They didn't poll people right before the verdict and then right after. Get the fuck out of here.
This happened. Who thought this could happen?
It didn't happen. You're a silly person.
Because the people of our country know it's a hoax. They know it's a hoax. They get it. You know, they're really smart, and it's really something. So we're going to be appealing this scam.
Yeah, we know.
We're going to be appealing it on many different things. He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything.
Really? Did you write that down? He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything. You know what? I don't even know why you need lawyers. Why don't you just go argue this yourself? They wouldn't allow us to talk. They wouldn't allow us to do anything.
The judge was a tyrant.
Boo fuckity who. He's a judge.
And you got to see that with Bob Costello.
Well, Costello was an asshole, so
a fine man. I've never seen anything like it. And
yeah, but you don't really sit through court. You send other people. It's always been civil, and you avoid shit. And
neither has anybody that was in that courthouse where he demanded that the courthouse be cleared. Now, the good news is most of the people in the courthouse were the media. And anybody that was in the media, if you're fair, you'll say, wow.
Wow. Can you spell that for me? I'm not quite sure. 1 second. Is that 2 O's, or is there an H in there as well? I don't know.
That was anger. That was...
Wow, that was anger. That was...
Crazed. He was crazed.
You should write that he was crazed and that he was crazy. I want an insanity defense. My judge was nuts. What a dick. Oh, God. He was so crazy, he woke me up from my nap. I almost shit myself again.
And the reason that Bob Costello acted a little bit upset...
Is that what... Oh, so it wasn't... I thought the guy was just yelling at him just to yell.
Which I think he has a right to.
Well, everyone's got a right to their emotions. I mean, you should hold it together in a court of law, one would think.
Was that every question he was being asked was being objected to by the other side and sustained by the judge.
Like what? Bring up one of those questions and let us know what that question was, and we'll all tell you the reasoning why there was an objection and why it was sustained.
Sustained. I think he did it many times. I don't know what the number, many times.
14, 17, 80, 83. I think somewhere between 14 and 83.
Even I was sitting there saying, and these were basic.
Even there, I was saying there, I don't want to go to school, Mom.
Questions. And I never saw anybody treated that way by a judge. And I've been treated very badly by 2 other judges also, because it's all the same thing. And it all comes out of the White House. Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. He's the worst president in the history of our country. The most...
Well, yeah, with an asterisk, obviously, the worst president who ever passed an infrastructure bill, the first one in 3 decades.
It's incompetent.
He's incompetent. But even in that incompetence, he was able to pass the rescue package and the CHIPS Act and set China's economy and technology and military back about 15 years.
He's the dumbest president we've ever had.
I got to say, I don't think anybody can take your crown.
He's the dumbest president, most incompetent president, and he's the most dishonest president we've ever had.
Says the guy who just got found guilty of 34 felonies.
And so many of he's a Manchurian candidate. You take a look at the way he treats China.
Yes, he's skull fucking them at every turn. I don't know what to tell you.
Russia.
Also not doing well in this situation. They've lost over 500,000 people in the Ukraine war.
So many others. You know, I ended the Russian pipeline. It was dead.
No, it wasn't. It ended up being completed.
He comes in and he approves it. And he gets...
But they can't use American insurance. We won't stop you from doing it. We're not going to blow it up. But you can't use American insurance. That's what he did.
$3.5 million, meaning $3.5 million is paid to the family, his family, from the mayor of Moscow's wife. And I said, where did that come from?
It came from her money that she got when her husband died. And now she's very rich, but she invested it with Devin Archer.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
I talk about it all the time. I'm glad to talk about it. I would love to sit down with you, sir, if you want me to explain this shit to you, you dunce.
But he's a very big danger to our country.
Seriously, if anybody knows how to get in touch with his press people, I would love an interview. I'm just saying. I think you would enjoy it.
And the only way they think they can win this election is by doing exactly what they're doing right now. Win it in the courts because they can't win it at the ballot box.
Well, they won at the ballot box last time, and they weren't even in office. So if you're going to cheat and, affect the election, some shit like you said they do, certainly they're in a better position now.
So we're going to show them that we're going to fight. It's actually, I don't know.
I don't know. We're going to fight, I guess. We'll try fighting. I don't know. Just, I'm a fighter. It's what I kind of do,
something where I'm wired in such a way that a lot of people would have gone away a long time ago. They would have gone away after impeachment hoax number 1. That was a total hoax.
Well, if they had any decency, they would have skulked out of the room after the pussy grabbing tape.
I had great support from the Republican Party, though. Then you had impeachment hoax number 2. And then they formed the committee. How about they formed the committee of thugs? The J6th Committee of Thugs.
The J6th Committee of Thugs. You mean the Unselect Committee? You're just skipping that name altogether? We'll just come up with a new one?
And they took their records and they destroyed all of the records after.
No, it's all still online.
The committee was abandoned because those records were great for us.
No, they weren't.
Now, can you imagine if Republicans did that? Everybody.
I can't imagine Republicans ever gathering any real evidence at all.
Everybody would have been in jail by now.
Yeah, they can't destroy evidence because they have none. See Hunter Biden laptop.
Think of it. The Unselect, I call it the Unselect. They call it Select Committee. I call it the Unselect Committee of Thugs.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's, thank God we have a presidential candidate who can think like a fourth grader.
Thugs. They meet. It's 100% Democrat and 2 past Republicans that are no longer Republicans, that are no longer in business anymore. Thank you.
In business? You mean in public service? Oh, I see. Because to you there. Mm-hmm.
But it was all Democrats and 2 wayward Republicans.
Wayward. I see. They were just set adrift.
Liz Cheney and crying Adam Kinzinger. He cries every time he goes on television.
No, he doesn't. No, it's not. Again, haven't there been like 3 fucking crying people? Wasn't crying Marco? Is there something about crying in particular, you weak man?
The most emotional human being I think I've ever seen. And that was our representatives. These 2 people were our rep. So they had all this stuff that they're leaking. And then when it came time to look at the records, like where the police.
Also, what the fuck are you talking about? What does this have to do with anything? Like, this is done and dusted. This has been debunked over and over again. Why would you get stuck on this fucking... What does this have to do with anything?
Said, and the Capitol Guard said that I supplied, think of it, that I recommended as many soldiers or National Guard as you want.
They just can't be armed, and they can't be anywhere near the Capitol, and they can only do traffic, and they can't have any defensive weapons, and they can't have any offensive weapons. And so basically, he just wanted a bunch of like National Guard guys who were aligned with him to be around the Capitol and await for him to, do the Insurrection Act so they could be part of the force that attacked the Capitol.
10,000. If you had 500, you wouldn't have had a problem. There wouldn't have been a J6. But Nancy Pelosi and the group didn't want it. Anyway, so they have testimony to all of that I did not attack the Secret Service agent in the front of a car. These are strong people. And I supposedly went to the driver, and I grabbed him around the neck. And he rebuffed me. And then I went to the other guy, who I think is a black belt in karate.
Karate? Really? Karate, you say? I'm familiar with that. I've heard that word before. Black belt in karate. Would you say he's a karate man?
And he's slightly younger than me. maybe 35 years, 40 years, 50 years. And I grabbed him around the neck and said, he's a black belt in karate. They know how to get somebody from around their neck.
Yes, they do. They know how to get somebody from around their neck. They also know they're your Secret Service detail, so you're the last person they're supposed to attack, even if you attack them.
They would have gone like this, and that would be the end of that.
Yeah, they wouldn't have killed you as president. It's kind of the point of the gig.
Actually, I had a friend that said, you shouldn't dispute that. That makes you look like the toughest cookie we've ever seen. You should have let that go on.
Okay, that person is not a friend.
But the fact is, it never happened. It was all made up. And that was proven to be made up. It proved to be a false.
No, it didn't. No. Cassidy Hutchinson heard them talking about it. They related the story to her. She related it to Congress. After that came out and became a thing, the guys who were involved in it circled the wagons and said it didn't happen. That's not the same thing. Nobody proved it didn't happen.
Story. And they deleted and destroyed all of that information.
No, they didn't. They have videos of people, but they have their transcripts. The transcripts are available, but they got rid of the videos of people because it wasn't germane to the investigation.
Every ounce of it.
No, there's paper weighs a lot.
We're dealing with a corrupt government. We have a corrupt country. Our elections are corrupt. Our borders are open. Our borders are going to be closed very soon.
What do you mean? The wall didn't help?
November 5th is going
Yeah, you can't close the borders, even if you win the election, which you're not going
to be the most important day
of your lame-ass life.
In the history of our country.
Well, we'll definitely be, as Americans, we'll be putting a shitty chapter behind us.
Now, when I say that, because my people are always saying, do this, because we're fighting for America, DonaldJTrump.com. I hope everybody watching right now,
sends me money because I don't need money because I'm a billionaire, but I kind of do.
Trump.com, because it really makes a difference. They have a lot of money on the other side. I don't know where they get it. Nobody knows where they get it. But
they file with the FEC. Everybody knows exactly where they get it.
For some reason, they get money.
Yes, from people.
But they're not on the side of our country. In many ways, I think they hate our country.
Uh-huh.
Who on earth can want open borders?
They don't want open borders. Your wall made it worse.
Where people are allowed to pour in.
I don't know. You told them not to pass the border bill. You're the one.
From countries unknown. From
maybe they're good countries then.
Places unknown.
From humans unknown. From all kinds of CNN shows.
From languages that we haven't even heard of. We have people sitting in schools with languages where very few people have ever even heard of these languages.
Well, clearly there's at least two, because I gotta tell you, you don't have a language unless you have another person to speak it to. So
it's not like Spanish or French.
Yeah, it's not like those good old-fashioned European ones.
Or Russian.
Weird that you'd go there.
Languages unknown.
Like what? Portuguese? Swahili?
We have people coming from corners of the globe.
It's round.
And many of them are not good people.
Both of, like 6 of them.
Many terrorists, record levels of
terrorists are being caught trying to come into the country. The caught part is kind of yeah. It's good that we're catching them.
Terrorism. Record levels of terrorists have come into our country.
Well, we would only know that if we caught them, right?
Record.
Well, oh yeah. I don't care what if they've got a great music career.
Never seen anything like it. You know, there was a.
Well, that's the point. Before they got through because they weren't seen. Now we're seeing them and catching them.
Report that in 2019, I don't believe this, by the way, the media gave it, and it was good for me, believe it or not. They said in 2019 there were no terrorists recorded that came into our country.
No, I believe it. I believe that the ones that came in were not recorded. Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense, actually.
Believe that. I don't think that's possible. But 2019 was a Trump year. I don't believe that could be possible. But they said no terrorists came into our country.
Yeah, you can't prove a negative, stupid.
So let's say it was closed.
It doesn't matter. I would like to have the highest number caught, because it doesn't matter how many are coming here. It's a matter how many we can stop. No one has control over the number who are coming here. It's about how many you catch.
Let's say it was closed. But now record levels of terrorists.
Are being caught.
Record levels. The
Are being recorded and caught and recorded.
highest level we've ever seen of terrorists.
So we're stopping the highest number of terrorists coming into the country that we've ever had. So they're coming here, something we can't control, and we're catching more of them because we're good at it.
Are
Cool.
pouring into our country.
Well, no, technically, if they're pouring into our country, we wouldn't know. They would just slip through again, and we wouldn't know they were here. You wouldn't. It'd be a year where, I don't know, where, you wouldn't have any record. Like 2019.
Of China, with just in the last few months, 29,000 people came in, and I looked at them on a line.
On a line? Where? At the grocery store?
And they looked like perfect soldiers.
No, I looked at the same group of people. A lot of women.
They're almost all male.
Almost all of them, like 40%.
19 to 25. It looks like a recruiting exercise.
Except they, obviously, that's true of any manual labor and any, that's also college age as well.
They have beautiful tents. They have propane stoves. They have cell phones, the best you can buy.
Well, I mean, they're made there, some of them.
I said, what's going on? It looks like they're building an army right in our country.
Those tent, you do realize those areas where they have the tents are ours. You're talking about the tent areas where we keep migrants, like the one in New York and stuff like that. We built those tents, right? You know that.
Now, I don't think that would happen, right? We're losing our country.
No, we're not.
And I really think that this is an event, what took place yesterday with this judge. Look, we have
A very conflicted judge, corrupt. It's a disgrace.
conflicted, but he's a crooked judge.
Right, same shit, whatever.
And you'll understand that. And I say that knowing that it's very dangerous for me to say that, and I don't mind, because I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to save our
To go to jail?
country and to save our Constitution.
Well, congratulations. Let us know when you're leaving the country.
I don't mind.
You kind of sound like you mind.
So,
I don't mind. It's great. But I'm really doing this for you fuckers. This wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you fucking... Just saying. But I don't mind. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll do this for you. Sure. And, thanks I get. But, it's also bullshit. I'm going through this bullshit because of you, okay? It's not even real bullshit. It's like I'm being tortured over a hoax because of you assholes. Yeah. America first, I guess.
so
In conclusion,
thank you.
thank you.
So we will continue the fight.
And by fight, he means losing in court.
We're going to make America great again. Very simple.
We're going to make America very simple again, thanks to my followers.
When people fight MAGA, they say, we're going to fight. I watch Biden. We're going to fight MAGA. We're going to stop MAGA. It's make America great again.
Yeah, we know what it stands for, but that's not what it means. The Nazis were National Socialists. You understand? Nobody is going, well, they're like Nazis, but it's National Socialists. That's something I thought you guys liked, and now you're all mad about it? It's National Socialists, okay? It's the North American Man-Boy Love Association, okay? That's NAMBLA, but they don't care. What's man and boys, that's a good, and love, what's wrong with love? And association, America, we have free association. MAGA is the NAMBLA of Nazi. You get it?
That's all it is. MAGA. Make America great again. Our country's in serious trouble. We owe $36 trillion.
Yeah, a third of that is because of you, asshole.
We were energy independent for
We still are.
the first time ever.
We still are because of fracking that started under Obama.
And now we're begging Venezuela for
No, we're not.
oil. One statistic you have to hear.
Yes, give us the. Oh shit! Come on! Oh no, I thought he was gonna get off scot-free, but he's got a statistic. Let's bring it. I'm excited. Let's hear it.
Venezuela was crime-ridden.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, we already know what it is. It's like it's their
Caracas.
crime rate went down. Okay, hold on. This would be Venezuela. Oh, sorry, crime rate. Right. Whoops. What the hell? I opened up a Venezuela crime rate. Let's see. Yeah. Here's now. Is it because he's like because they let their people out? Their prisons are empty. Actually, their prisons have never been more full. A government-reported decline in Venezuela's crime rate may create the illusion of a security breakthrough, but the reduction has more to do with reconfigurations in the country's underworld than an effective state response. In mid-May, Venezuelan security officials announced that crime indicators had fallen 25.1% compared to 2023. The Venezuelan government attributes this decrease to large-scale operations. I thought it was just they let these people out of the country and they just sent them to America, right? Conducted by security forces against criminal groups. President Nicolas Maduro also touted a similar theory in 2023 in December, saying the country is seeing the best results in over 20 years in terms of citizen security, peace, and protection of the people. The announcement coincided with figures from the Venezuelan Violence Observatory, an organization that studies insecurity and violence at the national level. The OVV also recorded a decrease in violent deaths compared to 2022 and 2023. But while the government highlights the role of the armed forces, there may be more complex reasons behind the drop-off in crime. Mass criminal migration. This is what he's talking about, by the way. Aside from the large-scale security operations, the OVV's most recent violence report draws a link between the migration of criminal groups and a reduction in crime. Venezuela's ongoing economic crisis has squeezed both ordinary citizens and the country's criminal groups. Economic decline in the labor and commercial sectors has left businesses and citizens unable to pay criminal groups, reducing opportunities for extortion and ransom and kidnapping. Crime is falling in Venezuela because of the destruction of the country's economy, because of the loss of opportunities for crime. Recession in Venezuela has led criminal gangs like the Tren de Aragua, Vieja Massacre, and Malen to infiltrate Venezuelan diaspora. It settled in other Latin American countries. These gangs, especially Tren de Aragua, have exploited the vulnerability of migrants and a lack of regional cooperation between authorities to expand criminal operations abroad. In Chile, Colombia, Peru, the expansion of these organizations has led to spikes in violence and crime. That's what they're talking about. And this is the brutal but futile Venezuela's anti-gang mega operations. They are not releasing people. They are shooting them, killing them, or locking them up.
The cities, crime-ridden. 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
And then they just decided, hey, we learned a lesson from Trump. You can say a statistic is better even if it's not.
They just reported a 72% drop in crime in the last year.
No, they did not. They reported a 23% drop in crime in the last year.
Because all of their criminals
are in jail.
Most of them. And
or dead.
The rest are coming in now.
Or have fled to Chile or Nicaragua.
Now, the ones that didn't come in. In Venezuela, their prisons have been emptied.
No, they have not. They are full to the fucking brim.
Into the United States.
No. Well, how do they get here? What boat is arriving full of fucking lunatics and criminals and guys with face tattoos? It's Venezuela, motherfucker.
Their criminals and drug dealers have been taken out of the cities and brought into the United States.
No, have you ever seen their criminals and drug dealers? Yeah. They're like the Yakuza, but with a doodling problem.
And that's true with many other countries. The Congo has just released a lot of people from jail. Congo.
Did they swim here?
Africa.
Oh, I see.
Just
in case people didn't know where Congo is.
Released a lot of people.
No, they did not.
A lot of people.
No, they did not.
From their prisons and jails.
Why the fuck would you think they would go anywhere but just outside and back to criming?
And brought them into the United States of
How would they do that?
America. This is what's happening to our country. And it's not sustainable by anyone. Little things like our kids can't have a Little League game anymore because you have tents and you have migrants living on the fields.
Yeah, you do. Hold on, real quick. Let's see. Schedules. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to try to look at the research. There you go. General news, softball. Let's see. Baseball. Dun, 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 dun. Little League. Here it is. Yeah, open this up. Click through, you silly thing. Yeah, there we go. Tournament affidavit, tournament rules, tournament resource approval, okay, there it is. Tournament calendar. That's what I was looking for. Okay. This is the, if I may, this is the 2024 International Little League schedule by district when they're on. This is the Central, East, Northeast, South. These are Little League Baseball, the official register, the teenage divisions. Apparently, I can barely read this because of the scorched graphics, but this is continuing. I'm just saying, Little League is. You can become shit. This is making me want to join the Little League thing. My kid doesn't even play baseball. Live your series, the tournament resources, in case you want to help out. It's still ongoing. I'm just saying. So, yeah, can't even have it though.
That's the least of it.
Well, of course, that's the least of it, yeah.
People are taking over our luxury hotels, migrants.
Oh, God. You mean foreigners are visiting our cities and towns?
And yet our veterans, our great veterans, are living on the streets.
No, they have more resources now available to them than ever. If they choose to live on the streets or they refuse to go to treatment or those kind of things, that's true of every human being. You don't get an automatic housing because you serve in the military, unless you're a communist or something.
Like dogs, they're living on the streets. But migrants are living in luxury hotels and...
No, they were using abandoned hotels as waypoints.
Cities all over our country run by Democrats. So it's my...
What do they do in the cities that aren't run by Democrats? Do they stay in like a Motel 6?
My honor to be doing this. It really is. It's a very...
Great transition.
Unpleasant thing, to be honest.
Sorry, I need to hear that again real quick.
My honor to be doing this. It really is. It's a very unpleasant thing, to be honest.
That's a whole clip right there. That whole piece right there.
Cities all over our country run by Democrats. So it's my honor to be doing this. It really is. It's a very unpleasant thing, to be honest.
As a nugget, that's gorgeous. That's just fantastic. It's an honor to be doing this. It's really unpleasant, I got to be honest.
But it's a great, great honor.
Oh, isn't it?
We're going to do what I have to do.
We're going to do what I have to do.
I'm going to do it. And the support has been, that's why I mentioned the number of $39 million. That's why I mentioned we're up 6 points. Mm-hmm. And we went up a lot over the last month because everybody saw it was a rigged deal. It was a rigged trial.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to make America great again. We're going to make it better than ever before. November 5th, remember, November 5th is the most important day
in your lame-ass life.
In the history of our country. Thank you very much, everybody.
He's like, I got my Adderall in that pocket. Jesus Christ, I'm going to need it just to stay awake, get into the car. Yeah, so they have a bunch of his dipshit followers out there. So we made it. We made it through that. Do we have any time? Yeah, we got some time left. Hold on. I've got to be fairly tight with the show. unfortunately. Yeah, let's go straight to this one. Ladies and gentlemen, the ghost of Ted Knight, also known as Robert Costello. How a jury can believe Cohen is beyond me, former Michael Cohen lawyer. Also, didn't Robert Costello, didn't he reject him as a lawyer? Wasn't that the point? But he gets 5 minutes on Greg Kelly. That's all we fucking need. Let's hear it. By the way, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. I'm the only guy going through these things completely. I'm not just picking out little snippets and just going, see, I made fun of this little area or whatever. I show you the whole thing in context, and you be the judge. Yeah, there you go. Now.
Robert Costello joins us now. Welcome back, sir.
From where the fuck is he? On the set of a dinner theater version of Death of a Salesman? Look at that. Hold on. Look at this fucking crack in the wall. What the fuck is going on? Wait. Look at this. Look at this shit. What is happening? What was going on in this room before Robert Costello showed up? What crimes is he covering up? Sketchy.
Congratulations and thank you for everything you tried to do.
Congratulations and thank you for everything you tried to do. Congratulations for being fucking useless.
To bring justice. Your reaction first to what happened today.
Well, my first reaction was that I was stunned. I expected a hung jury. Only
That's what you were shooting for. That's what you were there for.
Only because it's New York County. If it was any other county, I would have expected an acquittal based upon the evidence or the lack thereof.
Bullshit.
So naturally, when this thing came out just about 5 o'clock, I think, tonight, I was stunned.
Never felt so useless in my whole fucking life. Sorry.
And then I was angry. Angry that we had 12 people in the city of New York that were that stupid.
Well, that sounds fair.
To believe the story that the DA was selling, which was completely contrary.
Well, they didn't have to. They had records.
To what Michael Cohen told my partner, Jeff Citron, and myself on April 17th, 2018, when he was suicidal and desperately seeking a way out of his criminal problems. We made it clear that the way out of his criminal problems would be to cooperate against Donald Trump if he had truthful information. And I repeat, if he had truthful information, because I kept on going.
You mean like the recordings and the records that they got from the Trump organization that proved that everything was exactly as he said it was? And Allan Weisselberg backed it up?
Going over that same point again and again and again with him to make sure that he wasn't going to make something up in order to try to get out of his problems. He said that the idea to pay Stormy Daniels was his and his alone, and that he had nothing. I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump.
That's because he thought you were working for Trump at the time. He was being worked. Trump was testing to see if he would be faithful and that kind of stuff. And he was going to negotiate effectively a pardon or some sort of commutation if it did go through.
Well, at the same time, during that 2-hour meeting, he constantly said, guys, because he knew Jeff Citron for 10 years, he said, guys, I want you to understand, I will do whatever the F I have to do. I will never spend a day in jail.
Well, he ended up spending a couple of years.
Well, he wound up going to jail.
He did.
Let me ask you this, though. You said that meeting. It was more than one meeting. He was on the phone with you incessantly, right? He made it seem that, it was a one-off or whatever, and you wanted in. He was almost bothering you, barraging you with calls and texts, right?
70 calls. I didn't add them up, but the district attorney's office did. 70 calls from.
You mean, how many did you return and you actually spoke to him on? That's so weird.
Or two, Michael Cohen, call me back, etc.
Right. So 70, like he calls me, that's one call. I call him back. These are the ones they billed for. That's why.
He was constantly seeking information.
Right, because he was worried that you were hearing things he wasn't hearing, and he was in a suspicious, paranoid hole.
But his story never changed with us, that he had nothing on Donald Trump and that it was his idea to pay off Stormy Daniels. How the jury could believe a guy like Michael Cohen is just beyond me. So after the stage of being stunned and then being angry, then I started thinking about this. There are just so many holes in this case.
Yeah, like what?
That there is an absolute guaranteed reversal on appeal.
Man, why are you worried then?
Somebody said to me tonight, well, which is the most egregious? You know, frankly, there are so many, it's hard to say which one is the worst.
Yeah, just pick one.
Because any one of them is a...
Well, yeah, I agree. Any one of them. Just for us. You know, between us. Which one? Just one. Give me
kill
one.
shot for the DA's case.
Well, this is...
Whoa! What was that, asshole?
Is the worst, because any one of them is a kill shot for the DA's case.
Is a kill shot in the DA's case.
This is one of the reasons why you're a hero in my book. One of the
because you came to the defense of Donald Trump and I just embarrassed him in court.
Reasons. You know, somebody had to give it to this judge, and I know probably you didn't mean to, but we have this moment. Let's put the sketch up. You were frustrated by all of the objections he was sustaining, the objections that were coming from the prosecution. I think you may have shown your annoyance, and then he accused you of what? Looking at him the wrong way? Tell us a little bit, because we covered that when it happened. Tell us about that moment, and what does that say about him as a judge, that he kicked everybody out of the room so he could yell at you?
Right. He should have just, in a normal case, he'd have just yelled at you right there.
Yeah, it was stupid, frankly. But what you need to know, which I didn't know before that, was that the defense and the prosecution and the judge had a meeting in which they decided they were going to curtail my information, what I was allowed to testify about.
That happens with everybody. What's your witness going to say? What do you expect them to say? Do I allow them as a witness? What the fuck do they have that's germane to this entire agreement? Okay, you can talk about that stuff, but if you go into this other stuff, I'll sustain an objection. This happens all the time. This isn't even a fucking mystery.
To certain subjects.
Right.
Now, normally when you have a discussion like that, what should have happened was that Trump's lawyers should have come and explained to me before I was called to the stand, these are the new rules and regulations that we just agreed to.
So it's not the judge's fault. Trump's lawyers are assholes. That I believe.
That didn't happen.
Because Trump hires assholes and hangs out with assholes, and you're an asshole. And I mean, you would have spotted it, I would think. All right.
Normally, when the witness after a meeting like that comes into the courtroom, the judge is supposed to check and say, have you advised the witness that we are narrowing the scope of his allowed testimony? And that did.
Yeah, especially if you know the defense team is so unbelievably stupid. Yeah.
Didn't happen. So the judge didn't do what he was supposed to do. Now I'm sitting there.
The judge didn't do the defense's work for them.
Listening to a lot of questions. This DA did not get up out of her seat, and all she simply said was objection. Never gave a reason for the objection.
Because they already knew what the reason was. That's what you just told us. They already talked about this. And the reason they were sustained is because they'd already agreed on it. It was just his attorney trying to work shit in against the agreement. Why should she shouldn't have to fucking stand up and pound the desk, you asshole.
The judge instantaneously said sustained.
Because of the previous meeting, which you just explained to us, you dumbass.
Objection sustained. Objection sustained. Objection sustained. I think if you add them up, it was like 7 or 8 in a row like that.
Right, which is the defense's fault because they knew what the parameters of the interview were, the testimony would be, and they broke them.
Including one question, if I remember correctly, was, what did Michael Cohen say to you? Objection sustained. And I was thinking,
that's what you were there for.
What was going on? And I did audibly, although I didn't do it on purpose, I did go, geez, G-E-E-Z. That's all I did. The judge starts talking to me, so I turned in his direction. He immediately accused me of trying to stare him down. That was ridiculous. I did.
Well, the entire exchange was ridiculous.
No such thing.
Well,
it showed paranoia, not mine.
Wild. So wild. Well, look, I'm glad that.
First of all, do you think this fuckwad is going to admit that he was tossing attitude at the judge right now in this interview or afterwards? You think he's going to go, fuck yeah, I threw him some shade?
That moment happened, and
Why? Why are you glad that moment happened? You think it hurt the fucking judge's fifis, Greg, you tit?
Judge totally conflicted. The thing with the daughter,
Oh my God. She makes more money if Trump doesn't go to jail, dummy.
Here I am like an idiot.
his money to Democrats. It is outrageous, but Robert Costello, you did the right thing. You came forward. You didn't have to, and it was pretty amazing. Thank you, sir.
Right, and he didn't do anything. He shit the bed.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
Greg never has a good night, okay? I just want you to know that. And it's not your fault, Mr. Abbott, Costello. It's his fault. It's Greg's fault. Just letting you know. Yeah. Hey, Abbott! Now, I've only got a little bit of time left. I got to do something short and to the point. Let's go with this one. Because God help us. Now, I have to warn you ahead of time. This is not a nut warning, but it is the next worst thing. Also, Venmo, you can help out the show. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, take a picture of that with your phone, and you can, if you use that, you can send me a cup of coffee or the equivalent therein. Also, like, subscribe, like these lovely folks here. And Deanne, thank you for gifting the subs. Lovely. Thanks for everybody for hitting that like. That's the free stuff. That's easy to do. You can do that. It's fine. It's how Sparks Megaworldwide. I think it shows taste and breeding on your part that you're even here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you please, eek is right. I know your first response was like, oh God. Same here. Okay, this is on the Laura Ingraham show, the Ingraham Angal, former judge Jeanine was on there, and she says the Trump trial was a magic show, which is fantastic because I did not know there were balloon animals, and I hope the rabbit is okay. All right, here we go.
Me now is Judge Jeanine Pirro, co-host of The Five. Trump just told Fox News Digital that the guilty verdict, Judge Jeanine, is a scar on the New York justice system.
And not on him as a human being. You also have to take that with you have to put that in context in terms of Donald Trump and know that he viewed you get to grab women by the pussy without even asking. You just start kissing them without consent. Locker room talk.
He vowed to keep fighting. He maintained that the election will be the most important day in the history of our country. And
yeah, we've seen that shit. He says the same thing all the time. We know. I mean, I appreciate you kind of bouncing the propaganda for him, Laura.
I want to give props to you, Judge, because when I thought I saw one or two jurors on that jury who, I don't know, seemed to me a little bit skeptical of the whole process.
Yes, because you project the facial, like, resting loser face of the Trump world on everyone.
You said to me, don't bank on it. This is a New York jury, and those lawyers on the panel would have a lot of influence on the
Yeah, you mean the ones taking the most notes?
rest of the jurors. Like, this is our area of expertise. Listen to this. But you were right, Judge, and your comment on what you saw today.
Well, you know, it's a sad day. I think
Yeah, it's not.
America went over a cliff today.
I mean, I wondered what that kind of like light feeling in my stomach was, but I didn't know. I don't think it was that.
I think the indictment alone, but now the conviction of a former president of the United States.
Sorry, I normally don't chub when this woman is talking, but
On 2 dead misdemeanors that were resurrected to life by a
34.
judge who was not taken out of the wheel, but literally picked out because of his anti-Trump bias, and a case that was advanced before the election, as opposed to those defendants who were in jail waiting for trial, whose turn it is to go to trial.
Oh, I see. So she's worried about people who are innocent in jail in New York jails that aren't out on bond or out on bail because Donald Trump is jumping in line because in the court that covers mental illness, which he only meets on Wednesdays, which he continued to do. Judge Merchan continued to be the primary judge on that. The rest of the week he spent on this fucking case. You think, how many, hold on. I need to know this. One second. There are 1,220 judges in New York's court system, along with approximately 14,000 non-judicial personnel. The civil court has 120 elected judges who serve 10-year terms, with approximately 50 of them sitting in civil court. So I'm just going to say they could have used any one of the 1,219 other judges available, Jeanine.
And the fact that they had a magic show where they literally resurrected these misdemeanors and brought them to life through a felony that none of us knew anything about.
Yeah, he was trying to affect the election. He was trying to manipulate the electorate, therefore denying voters knowledge they should have had, or falsifying knowledge that that they made look real. In case of like the Ted Cruz stories and shit like that.
With a judge saying you don't have to be unanimous on the specifics of whether it's a federal election campaign violation, a federal tax crime, or a bookkeeping crime. And so.
Right. The defendant is being tried for chopping up a body and distributing it around the city on playgrounds. We presume the person was killed out of state because they were a Georgia citizen that went missing there, and we could tell from the coroner that they were dead within 10 minutes. But we don't know if they killed the person, found the person, bought the dead body immediately after it happened, or disposed of it because they were a groupie for a serial killer and they didn't want it found. You don't have to worry about that. All you got to worry about is he guilty of chopping the body up and distributing around the city. You can later on they can figure out if he was the person who actually did the murder, or helped, or bought or found the body.
We'll never know which of those it was. And
doesn't matter. You will when the feds decide to try it, or another state enters into it.
Of course, they had no jurisdiction over those cases either, Laura, and I can go on and on. But this was.
Well, they wouldn't have jurisdiction over the stuff that happened outside the state, or that would happen in Washington, for example. But since he filed those papers in New York, because that's where his business was, and he used his business as cover, that's why it happened there.
It's a magic show where they basically said, but look over here, we've got Stormy Daniels, and isn't she interesting? And look over here, we have, Michael Cohen, and he was convicted of a federal election campaign violation. And David
on behalf of Donald Trump.
Pecker, he had a non-prosecution with the federal election campaign.
Because of work they did for Donald Trump.
People. And as a matter of law, Michael.
Look, Laura's like, actually, that's kind of convincing. You could tell she's like, Jeanine, why are you bringing that shit up? That actually makes sense now.
Cohen is aiding and abetting in the same allegations that are defended. So what the judge did, he gave the jury no choice, Laura. What he said was Michael Cohen was aiding and abetting in the same allegations that this president is charged with, or this defendant. And so the jury did what they thought they were supposed to do, and they brought back a verdict, which is not only a sad day, Laura, but what it does to me.
Not sad. It sounds like they just did their job like he was a normal citizen, which he is.
He is someone who's done this for a living.
Also, this charge, by the way, part of the crime happened in the White House, but the conspiracy started before he entered the White House, when he was a citizen. So this is a citizen crime.
For 32 years.
He didn't pay these bills to Michael Cohen in his in his regular work as the president of the United States.
It reminds me of the power of indictment, the power of a prosecutor.
You can indict a ham sandwich. Blah, blah, blah.
And when we have George Soros-funded prosecutors, and we have the Department of Justice of the Biden administration dropping down prosecutors so that they can assist with local DAs, we've got a kangaroo court. But
no, you don't. Hold on, let me see about this. Just so we can do this real quick. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. This is the definition per Wikipedia. A kangaroo court is an informal, pejorative term for a court that ignores recognized standards of law or justice, carries little or no official standing in the territory within which it resides, and is typically convened ad hoc, meaning out of nowhere. And none of these details, even if you don't like this court proceeding pertain to this one at all. As a matter of fact, by bringing in the number 3 person from the DOJ to oversee or even work with this, it adds a level of scrutiny and function from established legal groups within the country or the territory.
No mistake. I still believe in the system, Laura, because I came up with it. This case.
She came up with it? You invented this? Then it's your fault. Somebody called Trump. It's all Judge Jeanine's fault. She came up with it. She came up with this whole jury trial thing. I mean, she looks old, but I had no idea.
This is riddled with reversible error, and it will be reversed, but after the election.
Well, how about, you can imagine, given how this has gone, I mean, I think people are wrong to assume, Judge, that they're not going to try to put Trump either behind bars or basically geofence him in so he can't really campaign, and he needs to.
You can't geofence him where he can't campaign. They're not going to put him on house arrest. He'll be on probation.
Ask permission every time he wants to do a rally, and then that permission is, oh, I'll get back to you next week, or it'll be tough probation until November 5th. I don't put anything past them. So
yeah, that'd be good. He gives you, like, he puts the guy on probation until the end of the year, and then at that point, if he's not elected president, but man, the pressure's on. Then he goes on house arrest for a year.
I have more faith.
Or to real jail.
In the New York judicial system, perhaps, because you grew up in it when it was truly the great DAs. Yeah. DAs who had a storied history of taking down the real criminals in the city.
Yeah, like Robert Durst. Oh shit! Wait.
Not this nonsense with this novel application of the law. But I'm very concerned about this attempt to remove Trump from the campaign trail when he's cutting through with minority voters, especially in places.
Oh no, he can go right back on the campaign trail right now. I don't know why he doesn't have he had a speech today. He should have a rally tomorrow and the day after that and just make up for lost time. What the fuck else is he going to do? He's basically a retiree. Fucking blitzkrieg, motherfucker. Get out there. Hit every state. You don't have any. Your docket is fucking clear, buddy. You're out. You're convicted, and you got to file for the appeal, but you're going to be free on appeal. And then July 11th, you got to show back up in court for your sentencing. More than likely, that'll take a couple of days, and it'll be a big deal. Between now and July 11th, I'd look at that as golden time.
It's like Chicago, Philly, and maybe even in L.A., which I know the Trump campaign wants to do an event in.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, I think that, look, this judge has set July 11th as the sentencing date. The judge can do any one of a number of things, but this team will ask for bail pending appeal. And if it isn't granted, they'll go to the appellate division to get bail. This whole thing has been about locking Donald Trump down. Laura, you're a trial lawyer.
No, it isn't. Not this one. If it was, they could have. They had dozens of opportunities. He kept violating the gag order even after he'd been fined multiple times. The judge even said, like, a fine this small is the most that the state will allow, $1,000 a pop. And we can't predicate it on how much the person actually has in their fucking pocket. So they can sit there and fucking chuck $1,000 bills at me and just go on with it. Jail is the only remedy, and he still didn't do it even after Trump continued to violate it.
You and I both know that you don't let a jury go for 7 days and say, look, come back after you have a few barbecues over Memorial Day weekend. The whole intent was to keep Donald Trump locked down. And I agree with you. They will do everything they can to stop him. But what they have done is...
He wasn't locked down during that time. He didn't have to stay at the fucking courthouse. How was he locked down? I'm dead serious. Like, how does anybody listen to this shit and go, yeah, they locked him down. He's basically in jail. He's basically already in jail. He's basically jail. That's where he is. He's basically in jail.
They've awakened a sleeping giant. You know, everybody listens to all the indictments out there. They have convicted a former president of the United States and probable future president of 34 felonies based on a porn, they call her a star, and a serial perjurer, Michael Cohen.
No, they went on the documents and the recordings he had.
He was the linchpin of this. And if
No, he was he was one of the partners in it. He turned on him. This is a standard mob thing. And the idea that this idiot would go, you can't put a godfather of a mob behind bars on the words of people that used to work for him.
You ask
those people aren't trustworthy.
Ordinary American, what did Donald Trump do? They won't be able to tell you. And so our job right now is to continue to have faith and support this man as he goes forward, because he's the strongest man I've ever met, Laura.
Okay, you're a silly person. Why? If he was strong, he wouldn't be in this situation. He'd be strong enough to have a conversation with his wife and go, I had an affair and I got to come clean with you about this, and it's going to come out or whatever, but I want you to stand by my side because it's not going to happen again, and I'm in control of my urges, and I can do this, whatever. And this is bigger than us, and we can help our son and our family, and the family name and all this stuff will be worth so much more if you stand by my side, and if you don't, I'll shoulder it anyways. If she stomps out and I go, look, even my wife left, but I'm here for America, I can spin this because I'm the strongest person Judge Jeanine has ever met.
I'm going to repeat it, Judge. Don't get mad. Get motivated. Judge, great to see you.
To what? Vote? Trump says you can't trust the elections. They're going to steal it again. The only way they could win is if they cheat, right? Why would they have to put him in jail if they're going to cheat in the election anyways? Why wouldn't you just make it look like a big win and just rig the whole fucking thing and he wouldn't have another shot and that's that? He's not in the White House this time. He can't direct the National Guard. He can't control the environment. Right? You could definitely fucking curb stomp his crowd if they tried to make another run at it if you're in the White House. Why would you even have to do this?
Always.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Hey, Sean. All right. Let's see. Do I have time to? God damn it. There's so much stuff though. Can we just do like a couple of minutes of one more and I'll do it and then I got to go? Okay, here we go. This is Houseworks Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Here we go. This is the I don't know, the lame one. Mark Levin, ladies and gentlemen. Levin, the whole point of this is to influence the election. Yes, that was why he was paying off Stormy Daniels, we know. But here he is, Mr. Producer.
Yep. Listen to the former president last night.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial.
Yeah, we saw this.
And we will
bring in the great one, Life, Liberty, and Levin, the host Mark Levin. Mark, you've been watching all this play out for 6 weeks.
And you've been quoted several times, and nothing that you did or said helped at all. He's fucked. And do you feel guilty at all?
The jury decided that he was guilty after the judge stacked the deck.
Excuse you? Also, no, this is all Mark's fault. Don't try to steal his anti-valor.
What's your reaction?
Well, a couple of things.
Anger. By the way, if anybody needs to go take a long raging shit, now's the time, because I'm basically just going to go off.
First of all, my reaction is that
anger, petulant, impotent rage. I'm just going from what I've seen from before.
the Democrat Party has completely destroyed our electoral system.
Completely? So we're not even going to be able to vote? There's no machines or anything? Did they upend the Republican primaries as well? So Trump isn't the nominee? Is that what you're saying? I don't know quite what you mean.
Jack Smith has criminalized what used to be legitimate, although rough and tumble politics.
Rough and tumble? The fuck? He's the Jan 6 prosecutor, you dumb motherfucker. Rough and tumble?
Of elections, separate slates of electors. We've done that in our history.
No, we haven't. They had 2 sets in Hawaii because of a recount, and they had both of them ready to go. It's not the same thing. It was never the same thing. Fuck you. And they were above board.
He's actually charged Trump related to free speech comments and so forth and so on.
No, you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater, and you can't engage in direct stochastic terrorism from a point of power where you actually have control over a group of people where they would view you as an authority on the subject or take your orders.
You combine that with Mershon and Bragg, who have now criminalized we don't know what.
Wow. Well, then I guess you don't have to worry about it because ignorance of the law is an excuse for your show.
affecting an election, we don't have the foggiest idea what is legal or illegal anymore.
I'm pretty sure I know. Yeah, pretty sure, right? Obviously I don't know the tax laws very well, and there's a lot of murky corporate stuff that I'm sure I'm a little fuzzy on, but I could figure it out in a hurry if it mattered. And I certainly could go with my own ethics and morals and go, I don't know if it's legal or not, but it doesn't feel right to me.
Federal election. And that's part of the problem. I'll get to that in a minute. That's
no doubt.
Number one. Number two,
that wasn't a number one, by the way. Number one can't be, we don't know what's illegal or legal anymore. That's your problem, not the rest of the country's.
Have half the country cheering the fact that the Constitution of the United States was shredded.
No, it wasn't shredded. It followed all the rules. He had due process. He had his own attorneys. He was able to bring witnesses. He could have testified. He didn't. He was granted his Fifth Amendment protection. The jury was instructed that they couldn't take anything from the fact that he didn't testify and that he was a giant fucking chicken shit.
That you literally had a Stalinist-like show trial.
If you had a Stalinist-like show trial, it would have been a lot shorter.
We don't know what the predicate crime is. You've heard it all.
Yeah, it was interfering in the election.
We don't know what the elements are.
34 counts of falsifying business records, each one over the course of 12 months, including the original conspiracy to do it.
The jury instructions are something out of Kafka.
Oh, he told them to be roaches?
And Joe Biden is perfectly happy with it. We have an autocratic Democrat Party that will do anything to win, change the election.
An autocrat Democrat Party? Is that because it does its own, it's self-driving?
Election laws. Tax Supreme Court justices, the border's wide open so they can win more congressional seats under the census count. The Democrat Party...
Okay, no. The areas where they have those seats, the vast majority of the migrants that are coming to those areas, especially in the South, no matter how many fucking... do you think Greg Abbott would put migrants on fucking buses and send them to New York if they were counted in the fucking census? He'd keep them. Put them in Chip Roy's fucking district.
Party embraces the river to the sea crowd.
No, they don't.
The anti-Semites,
no, they don't.
The way they embrace the racists in the 1950s and 60s.
No, those would be the Republicans of present day who were the Dixiecrats of pre-Civil Rights Act.
Democrat Party is destroying this country.
Well, we're sure taking a long time to do it. And also, I got to say, real quick, if you're going to destroy a country, I just think an infrastructure bill is counterproductive.
That's number one, as a citizen. Number two.
Wait a minute. Isn't that two number ones? You're over quota, Baldy.
I don't mean to upset anybody.
You're just upset yourself. I understand. You're doing a terrible job. You are. Why are you doing it? Then don't do it. Don't say it, Mark. Don't say it. Whatever you're going to say, don't say it.
But they're lawyers who do different kinds of things.
That's very upsetting. What? I don't understand.
Who have different kinds of experiences.
That's not upsetting. That's just a fact of life, isn't it? The different kind of lawyers do different, like white collar lawyers do stuff and they don't go after murderers.
40 years litigating against these people.
And so what were you just terrible at it the whole time?
I spent 40 years litigating against the federal government and state governments.
And it's still here. I'm sorry, you're a failure.
As president of Landmark Legal Foundation, and now its chairman, we've taken up cases we said we could never win.
And you were right.
The whole issue of school choice is now an option because Landmark Legal Foundation spent 20 years litigating this in the state of Wisconsin in the U.S. Supreme Court.
And now in Wisconsin, you don't have school. There's still public schools. It's fine. And if you do have school choice, if you can pay for it, you can go, or you can get a grant if you want to send your kid to that kind of thing. And so, whatever.
We were told we couldn't win. We won.
No, you didn't.
Bill Clinton was held in contempt because we filed something called a letter of judicial notice, which nobody really does.
Right, especially over a blowjob. Except, the only people who file those kind of things? People who never get blowjobs. They're all jealous.
Susan Wright in the late 1990s to inform her that she should hold Bill Clinton in contempt. She waited until after the impeachment, and that letter was the basis of most of her ruling. I cannot tell you how many times I have been told by lawyers and others, you're not going to win, you're not going to win.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but Mark, you're not going to win, you're not going to win. I'm sorry.
The job of
You made me say it.
a lawyer advocate is to try and find a serious, substantive, even if it's rarely used, avenue to represent your client.
Right, but you have to be a good attorney. You need somebody who knows what they're doing. Like me, Harry Lichtman, from the great state of Wyoming. I'm not a lawyer, but I yell at them on TV, C-SPAN, which is kind of TV. Right.
You have been told over and over, we've heard over and over again.
Over and over. Enough already. What have they been told?
For people who have different experiences than I do.
You mean normal people?
And know the New York appellate system. What have they said?
What have they said?
They basically said justice denied.
Basically, you know, basically.
Is okay.
That's what they said, basically. Justice denied is okay. There's no justice, and occasionally you'll get a piece. If you want one, and you're really good.
Well, get it eventually. The whole purpose of this case was to affect the election.
Well, and I guess, oh yeah, you mean when Trump tried to hide the fact that he'd fucked Stormy Daniels? I wouldn't call it fucked. That's too big a word, too. I think fucked actually still has some oomph to it. You know what I mean? Like, you get a good, get a good fucking in there. Like, it has some oomph. This was more of like a, and that's it. It's like a walrus with premature ejaculation issues.
And so when you say, we'll have a reversal, but it's going to take time, it'll be after the election, then the evil actions that were done, the unconstitutional actions that were done, all the hand-wringing that's been done by lawyers and others for the past 6 weeks will be rewarded.
Rewarded the hand-wringing? No, the people who are wringing their hands are the people who are worried about it being punted. The good guys weren't wringing their hands, dumb fuck. Also, Trump could have solved this by just letting this go forward last year instead of punting it. He thought he would help himself by pushing it further into the election.
When you say that Mershon doesn't care about the appeal because he got what he wanted to get, what's your response?
Well, I don't care because who gives a shit what the fucking Fox and Friends people are saying about this?
Oh, well, maybe 5 years from now, the American people will rise up and we'll change our legal system. We can't change our legal system.
No, we can't. We're just going to have to keep having a situation where if Donald Trump breaks the law, he's going to face consequences.
It's not subject to vote. It's not subject to popular sovereignty. That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's why we have juries, and they found him guilty, all of them.
Judges at the federal level are appointed for life. These Democrat judges in these Democrat areas, they don't give a damn what I say or anybody on Fox says.
So the Republican ones in the Republican areas do? And that's okay with you? So they can fuck with the system or give you a ruling you like, and that means it's genuine because they're in your party?
They have a constituency. Mershon's constituency is the same as Alvin Bragg's.
Right. People who have lived next to Donald Trump for decades and hate his fucking guts.
So the question is this.
Why can't Donald Trump get a fair trial in the city he says he built? Excuse me. Right? Isn't that the point? If Trump is like this master businessman and this king of all media and bullshit, then why does his hometown hate him so much? The whole fucking city. Because you either don't like him because of his silver spoon upbringing and his bullshit stealing from charities and all the shit that he's done, or you know somebody or are somebody who worked as a contractor for him who he stiffed out of their fucking life savings.
Do we allow this to go by?
Yeah, yes, you do. You will whimper and moan like an impotent jerk and then bend over and take it up the tailpipe.
Without trying to bring the matter to the steps of the Supreme Court.
Yes, because there's nothing that it has to work its way through the appellate first, and then it would have to go to the next after that. And he's going to be free to walk around. If they try to, I mean, he'll get a temporary injunction from the Supreme Court probably if they try to put him in jail right during the campaign, but that only would be a temporary stay until the election's over, in which case he would have to report to jail on like November 6th, which would be fucking gorgeous.
Whether the Supreme Court takes it or not, I'm not a Nostradamus. Maybe there's a 10% chance, but the country's worth it.
Worth what? Appealing straight to the Supreme Court? You don't have standing, motherfucker. You haven't gotten your relief in state court yet.
And so what an advocate like I do, I deal in the appellate and Supreme Court realm, not at the trial court realm, although...
Where you know nothing about it.
We can comment on it.
Yeah, you can comment on it. You don't know anything, but...
How do you get this case out of the mire of New York?
Well, you could have build a time machine and fly back and tell Trump not to commit his crimes in New York. That'd probably be the easiest way. That's probably the quickest Occam's razor kind of a trip.
Which takes a long time. The New York lawyers are telling us.
Because what do you mean, the good ones or the shitty ones he hired?
Which will be done after the election. The New York lawyers are telling us. What do? Well, we
find another candidate who believes the same thing you believe and is got his shit together and isn't a serial sexual assaulter.
We sit here and we wring our hands and whine about it. No, we don't.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to do. As a matter of fact, that's what your show is, Mark.
We try, even if we fail.
Then go fucking write up his appeal. What are you doing on fucking Fox and Friends? Get your pen out, motherfucker.
To pave a way to the United States Supreme Court. Now, why is this
for what?
Important to the United States Supreme Court?
It isn't.
For multiple reasons.
Okay, just give me one.
You've had lawyers on your program and others say, this case has a national impact. This case, a state judge, an acting...
Yeah, but he violated federal election laws. That's the point. That was the furtherance of the crime. Now, the jury didn't have to come to that conclusion because all they had to do was look at whether he falsified business records to hide the repayment to Stormy Daniels. But, you know, the why they could leave up to the feds. But this was a federal crime. That affected the voters. He lied to them in 2016.
State judge took federal jurisdiction.
No, he didn't.
Supreme Court happy with an acting state judge taking federal jurisdiction over a...
He didn't.
Presidential campaign. And
no, if they want to, he's not. I got news for you, fuckwad. If they want to try him for the federal election violations, they can. It's not like they're going to face double fucking jeopardy. He didn't get tried on those on the federal cases.
Federal campaign laws? I'm betting not. Why?
Because you're talking out of your ass, and idiots will bet on anything.
There's thousands of these judges in 50 states. There's tens of thousands of these state prosecutors in 50 states. Where it stands now is they can do whatever the hell they want to do.
No, not really. I mean, you have to commit a crime in their jurisdiction. I mean, by the way, look at people who tried to sue Obama over things or tried to sue Biden during the beginning of the election or the end of the election, the beginning of his term to try and overturn his election. And the reason they failed because they didn't have standing. Multiple states trying to affect Georgia's standing, for example, are going after them. Now, I got news for you. Please, fucking please, try to bring anything that you found in the Hunter Biden laptop, in quotes, to a judge anywhere. And a first-year law student will get the fucking thing punted because of lack of chain of evidence.
No due process.
And then from that point on, all of it's dead.
There's no predicate crimes, no elements to be proven. So is New York the appellate?
He seems happy, though, I would like to say. Can I just say for the record, can we enjoy for a moment hearing Mark Levin freak out this much? I think that in and of itself is pretty sweet.
Courts in New York, they're going to decide for the whole damn country?
No, they're not. It's a state charge, and he'll still be able to run for president. He would even be able to run from prison if he got jail. He also could file I guess in the filing of his appeal, because it's a nonviolent crime. More than likely, he could stave off going to jail during that time, during the appeal process. So They're not going to throw him in jail. He'll still be able to campaign. It's not going to affect the nation at all. As a matter of fact, why the fuck isn't he doing a rally?
What goes on in Minnesota and California and Kansas and Oklahoma?
Right. Why isn't he in all 4 of those states this weekend? Fuck, he knew when it was going to end. He knew wasn't going to last past the end of the week. And if it was going to be a hung jury. He could have planned shit all next week. Where's his rallies, motherfucker? Fill that calendar up.
No.
Yes.
No. And we're going to reward the timing,
well, it was his timing.
Bragg Mershon timing, right smack in the middle of the damn election to affect the outcome? No. So you've got to try and come up with creative but substantive and serious legal arguments to try.
Now? I would have recommended doing that before the trial started.
And find a pathway to get.
So you're saying his lawyers suck?
Get out of this mire, this muck.
He seems happy.
And hope that the Supreme Court will take it and do the right thing. And if they.
Nah, they won't.
They don't, it's over.
Okay. Yeah, then it's over, I guess. You heard it from Mark. Yeah, it's over. And on that note, love you guys. I got to go finish packing and get my fucking cute little ass out the door. So Seattle Sexy Liberal, I'll see you guys there tomorrow. Very exciting. Very exciting. You better make it worth my while because I'll tell you in person. I'm making a personal sacrifice for this particular show of all the shows that we're doing. Just saying. It matters. And I adore you guys, but it's true. So if you're going to be at Sexy Liberal Saturday and you're getting meet and grope tickets or whatever, be particularly raucous when I walk out on stage. I know you probably will anyways, but just in case, just let me know you're there. Just, yeah, we'll figure something out. Anyways, I got to go. Hit that like, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great night. See you on the radio tomorrow.